Good evening, everybody. I still haven't unmuted the panel because they're all chatting shit about me. Bastards. But now
Don't
here they
worry,
are
as soon
because
as you
they've gone
unmute
quiet.
us.
What's going on, everybody?
No, because we hear you rattling.
Well, you all put me off, man. You was like, it's chatting. I'm like 20 seconds left, lads. And GB starts off on a new subject there. And it's like, I can't unmute you until you start
Oh,
talking.
he's blaming
Then I
us for
clicked
this
the
stuff.
video
Oh,
out
it's
20
all
seconds.
Mackie doing this.
Bad
Do
man.
you
work.
know how much
Always
pressure
blames
I'm
his
under,
tongue.
man? Do you know? Good evening,
Every-
everybody.
GB cult.
I try and keep control of the panel as much as possible, but they're just
No chance.
rebels, man. They're rebels.
Never gonna happen.
They're
Never.
out of control. They're on that devil cannabis yet again. You
Yes,
know what I'm saying?
That's what we do.
I agree.
You know,
Lots of it.
Thanks
Yeah,
for joining us,
indeed.
lads. How you all doing? You having a good week?
Excellent week, man. Excellent week.
Mm.
Hurricane's gone. The weather's gotten better. I'm high on homegrown, and it's Sunday.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Let's give some shout out to the chat there. We got Noob. Hello, that's Miguel there. What's up, Noob?
Oh,
Black
look,
Ops. Zombie Nation. How you doing? Temple.
Hello.
Twisted.
Bring that.
Shay, what's going on, Shay? There's
Monkey
Red
do.
Eye as well. Just a shout
Yeah,
out to
Monkey's
Red
in the
Eye there
chat.
as well.
Hello,
Red
Josh.
Eye has come to his first harvest. So
Black Ops.
congratulations to you.
Ah,
man.
sweet.
Yeah,
You know.
Red Eye is going to get high on his first homegrown next week on our
I'm saying.
podcast.
Yeah, man.
Happy
We've got Cade as well.
Cade.
Cade's here again. Thanks for joining
And
us, Cade.
GB's going to get all
Josh.
knackered up on ours tonight.
I am
Oh, yeah.
planning on it.
GB has
All
gone
right.
and hit some edibles today. He's going to eat a
Some
little
mystery
bit of oil.
edibles that he has no idea how long it's going to take or how strong they are.
So if GB goes quiet later on, you know why.
Yeah, after the interview, we should find out.
You know what I'm saying? Speaking of the interview tonight is going to be with Carly from NORML. NORML is an organisation about protests towards cannabis law reform. They've been doing that for 50 years this year. It's their 50th birthday. So
Wow.
happy birthday to NORML. We've got an interview with Carly coming up later on. In the Grow Guide section, we're going to be talking about the mistakes we've made as growers. Just the stupid little things you do when you're learning how to grow. Even when you're experienced as well, you make stupid mistakes sometimes. But just to explain how to get over the mistakes, stay calm. So we're going to discuss that during the Grow Guide section. Of course, if you got anything for Q&A, drop that in the chat and we'll get to your questions during the listener Q&A section. All right, so there we go. We should move on. Lads, you want to introduce yourselves? Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't let you all introduce yourselves yet.
No,
I think everybody knows who
Well,
you are, though. But still.
hello.
GB, you want to go first, man? You want to say hi to everybody?
Yes, cut in scale Macara. It is John
What?
here from. It is.
Oh, no, what? Wait,
Some bloody foreign language. Forget that now.
No. Hello, everybody. GB here. How's everyone doing tonight? I'm a little bit stoned, and I'm after
Yeah.
dropping some edibles on top of it now. So it's gonna be interesting.
Hmm.
Yay!
See how the night goes on.
Give
TG,
it
what
to
you
you,
say,
ma-
man? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. It's actually cold here. I have to wear a long sleeve shirt today instead of my normal no sleeve shirt.
Yeah, I thought you didn't have any t-shirts, mate.
Yeah, I haven't for a while, but yeah, it's chilled out. So yeah, I'm here. It's all good. It's kind of not so sunny Saskatchewan.
Same as last week, man. It's never
Yeah.
sunny.
It's actually really nice here today, man. For a fucking change, it's been shitty.
That's nice.
It's been
Yeah.
shit here.
I'm
for
not
about a week
complaining
now.
at all. The
God,
cold
never
is great.
complain.
Zian,
Too
what you
hot
saying, man?
is-
Oh, all good, all good. Yeah. Evening, guys. I'm busy trying to roll my fourth one since we started.
I can
How
hear
long
it.
we've been
I
going?
can hear it going there. I can hear the papers rustling together.
Yes, it's a necessary evil, I'm afraid. I've had one of them days. I've
It's
been
part of the sound
out and
effects of
about,
the show,
all
man.
over.
So good. And Monkey, what you saying, man? How was the hurricanes?
Hurricane for us was a dud, which is a good thing when it comes to hurricanes. So
Handy,
we're
handy.
very, very glad to watch it go a different direction, and I'm very sorry for the people that it did hit.
Yeah.
But we're fine. We're just drying out. Everything's soggy. It's still raining every day and everything like that. But other than that, man, it's great.
Yeah, man. That's just send our thoughts out to everybody who is affected by the hurricane. I think Mama B has been affected by it, hasn't she? Yeah.
Yeah, I
There's
believe she
GMO as
is.
well. GMO, welcome, Richard. Thanks for joining us. And 40 Cal, I think I might have missed you out there. What's going on, man? Thanks for joining us, everybody. All right, so with that, we will move on to this week's news. And we got new intros as well. If you have a look, I've sharpened up all the image. Got a new chat box over here. It looks very
Yeah,
nice.
there's a
I
little
think.
green tick too.
Yeah, little green ticks instead of making them fade out. We'll move on to the news section. We've got a new intro screen and there's a new tick that appears over there as well. Nice. So there we go. This week's news. Every week we keep you up to date with the latest news and events around the world that involve cannabis. So GB, have you got something nice to tell us this week?
Excuse me. Yes, I do. It is quite interesting. It is a zoo in Warsaw, in Poland, is treating elephants with CBD oil.
I saw this.
Yeah.
This has been over Facebook a lot.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. It's all about the leader of the herd died, and they've just been so depressed and all over the place because they don't know where their positions are in the herd and that anymore. And then the next one that was like in line, she's so anxious and everything because she's watching everything like, and she's not resting, she's not in. But yeah, they're using CBD oil.
How's it affecting it? It seems to be doing well with them, or what?
It seems the trial has only really started, but it has worked wonders. With they've used it in cows, they've used it in dogs.
Yo, hold on a second. Something just occurred to me. How much CBD have you got to give an elephant? That's some
Good point.
massive ass
It's
pill, right?
massive.
Depends
Fuck
whether
yeah.
it's
Say.
first time user or not.
Ah, true.
Still, man, elephants are huge.
Mm.
You given a kilo or something like that.
Yeah,
It's just eating the whole plant in one, isn't it?
That's really cool.
No, so that's it. So CBD. So like, it's really unusual because the European Union and everything is kind of behind this, and for me, it's just ironic because like, aren't the European Union discussing later this year to turn CBD into a fucking narcotic? But yeah, so it's okay for the animals to have it, but it's not okay for us.
As is normal.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my news. It's about the zoo. So it's going to be interesting. I'll keep you posted on it. Because I'm going to be following it anyway. So
Zombie, you said you got
Yeah,
something
that's
to do with Elon Musk this week.
Oh, I got a cracker. This one is it's not lit. Well, because there's an Elon Musk connection, it's kind of weed related. But scientists have found it's probably in recent like months now, but they've found a bioorganism that helps with technology being merged with human anatomy.
Oh.
Yeah. So now we've got AI actually bonding with the human brain.
Well, we don't have
And
AI yet. That's just potentially.
It's potential, but potential's usually potential that we get to hear about. So it's probably 5 years ahead. And this chemical that they found, it's a polymer, so it's a man-made polymer, I'm guessing. It's known as pedo or PDOT. And weirdly enough,
that's a bit fucking strange, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
Take this pedo juice. What the fuck?
Should Jeffrey Epstein's walk around?
It started off. It's an anti-static coating for screens, and they figured out that its ability to like penetrate and conduct electricity and stuff. It's quite adaptable to like human flesh, and Elon's got, or he's already got his
Neuralink, man, Neuralink.
with his Neuralink.
Yeah, that's some crazy
So-
shit. You see that shit this week with the pigs?
Oh,
That's wild, man.
yes.
That will change the world.
That will change the world. A
But we'll speak
USB
about that
stuck
on
straight
Tuesday.
into your brain.
No, by the way, let me just interrupt. Sorry, but we're gonna start another show, which is gonna be on the 1st of every month, and the first one will be on Tuesday, and it's gonna be called Higher on Homegrown, and we're just gonna chat crazy shit. There won't be a structure to it like there is with this podcast. It's just gonna be us conversating about random stuff, conspiracy theories, science, politics, economics, wherever we go. We're just gonna get high and follow that road. So if you want to join us, it's going to be the same time as this podcast, but on the 1st of every month. So what's going on, Fish? Didn't see you there, mate.
Just walked in.
Welcome to High on
he found his
Homegrown.
kitten.
Sorry, yeah. Anything else on that, Cian?
Nah.
No, that's good. Right, TG.
Yeah, so I gotta
Go on,
make sure I
never mind.
get these right. You guys want the good news? I got two, or the bad news first.
We'll go for the bad news first because then we're left on a high note, anyway, right?
Right.
Yeah, then we'll be higher.
Sweet. Sounds good. So, 2020 has been fucking brutal for everybody and anybody, as we all know. Lots of deaths. We just lost Chadwick Boseman, as everybody knows, just recently here. But there was another death just yesterday Cliff Robinson was his name. He was a former NBA player. He played for the Portland Trail Blazers back in the early 1990s, and he was a huge a huge cannabis activist and advocate during his time in the NBA and after retirement. He got like I guess suspended many times because of his cannabis use by the NBA, but was always steadfast in his advocacy that it was a useful thing for athletes to use in terms of recovery. He used it for anxiety and to be able to focus during his time, as well as I guess just the pain relief kind of stuff that a lot of other people use it for. But yeah, he had lymphoma and he was battling that for the last year, and he actually just passed. So kind of shitty because as far as like professional sports goes, it's still a very very touchy subject for a lot of people. And the NBA has kind of always been, I guess, on the forefront, and him especially, and a lot of other athletes in the league. But yeah, I mean, it always sucks to lose such a big name.
Yeah, man. Another soldier lost.
With a big
We've been
voice.
losing a few
Really?
recently. With
Yeah.
some callers, it wasn't too long ago as well, and he was a big name. It's not
Yeah.
cool, man.
Pretty shitty. So
So what's
if
the
you go to
good news,
Danny,
man?
well, yeah, just if anybody wants to check out some cool pics, though, go to Danny Danko's Twitter, and Danny Danko actually used to golf with Uncle Spliffy, and seeing him next to him is pretty interesting. So, but yeah, the good news. I talked about the first legal application of psilocybin mushrooms for like a therapeutic purpose here in Canada a couple weeks back. That actually went ahead, and lo and behold, the outcome was very positive. One of the gentlemen that was in this study, or in the Section 56 exemption, is actually here in my hometown in Saskatoon. And
Sweet.
he said he's enjoyed the best sleep he's had since receiving his terminal cancer diagnosis 4 years ago. And in the week that's passed since the dose, he hasn't had a single anxiety attack, which is, he says, a personal record, which is amazing, for anybody in that situation. And then yeah, later on in the article, it says the doctors that were helping him out are pretty positive, I guess, or I guess hopeful that in the next few years, the use of psychedelic medicine will become hopefully more commonplace within the traditional application of that kind of stuff. Because
Yeah, man.
I
I
mean,
think humans have lost contact with all that. Lost touch with that part of nature. Drugs became
absolutely.
illegal, and people
things.
just stopped doing it. But that, there's been a lot of evidence that psilocybin is good for treating depression and
Sure.
anxiety, and even microdosing. A lot of people are doing that now.
Yep. Yeah. So here's hoping.
For sure.
It's good
Promising.
evidence, and it's legal, so you can't really argue with that. So
At the moment.
At the
Monkey, what
moment,
you saying, man?
exactly. Well, since we're doing an interview today about legalization, I decided we had a member at our forum that asked us to go ahead and look at Uruguay some. He used to live there, evidently, and I didn't know a lot about Uruguay. So my news article today is basically a little review of cannabis law and what's going on in Uruguay. I do know that Uruguay was the first country to legalize cannabis. I did know that much. And it was brought into legalization in 2013, but it didn't take effect until 2014. And the movement was actually to get rid of the black market competition and fight the crime that they were having down there. A lot of cheap, low-grade marijuana was being brought in from Paraguay through the black market, and it was disrupting too many different things. So the government decided what we'll do is we'll grow better weed and sell it for the same price as the black market. It'll be available on the street corner, and it'll shut down the black market.
Genius.
Well, I
Boom.
mean, it's a great idea, but wait a minute. It was currently selling on the street from Paraguay at $1 a gram. So
Wow.
the government had to figure a way of producing this stuff to meet that price with a better quality. And they were able to do it. And they actually say in the articles that I've read that Uruguay is actually now, the prices are actually being driven down in the legal market to below $1 a gram as these people are competing for it.
Wow.
So evidently it can work. And it's definitely helped clean up some of the black market stuff. There are some problems with this, though, because the government decided that they didn't want a cannabis tourism industry. So only legal residents of Uruguay, adults 18 years old or older, can buy it. You can't be a tourist and buy it.
Lame.
Now, a local might be able to give it to you, but you're not supposed to have it. It's not. It's only for locals. There's a limit on it. You're allowed to purchase at about $1 a gram, 40 grams per month, or 480 grams a year
Oh
per
my god.
person.
Oh my
Wow.
Now,
god.
Mackie, could you live on that?
No,
No, I
mate,
can't.
that wouldn't last me a week, mate. A fucking week.
That's gone in 2 weeks, mate.
You know what I'm saying?
Did you
2 weeks,
mention
it's all
growing?
gone.
Well, let's go. I mean, even go further than that. I mean, this stuff is averaging 9% THC, so you're gonna have to smoke
Oh,
twice as much.
Yeah, twice as much as well. Fuck
Wow.
Right.
that. Fuck that.
Well,
I'll
and
give up
the
smoking and move to the UK.
You know, it's like I appreciate the gesture, Uruguay, but no, thank you.
You
Yeah,
can
if
fuck
you're
up legalization no matter where it is, man.
what are our fuck ups going to do?
Sorry,
It's gonna
TG,
be
what you
like
saying, man?
2% THC.
I just said they fuck up legalization no matter where you are.
Yeah,
Well,
they just
yeah.
have to lift all fucking restrictions, man. You know, obviously
Well,
make sure
they
that it's
kinda do.
not available to children, minors, and
Because
vulnerable
it's a
people.
damn plant. It's not
Exactly, yeah.
dangerous. Like, for fuck's sakes. Oh.
Another shout out there to Noel. Thanks for joining us, Noel. It's good to have you, man. And BRM, what's going on? Good evening. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us. Having a great
But
time.
you know,
High on
the
homegrown.
strange thing with this Uruguay thing is they have the same problems that a lot of Americans have, American companies and all have with it. Banking. Now, I didn't realize this.
Yeah.
The Uruguay government has forbidden a lot of companies from doing business with cannabis, because if they do business with cannabis, the Americans won't trade with them because you're
Yeah.
supporting the drug industry or
Yeah.
something like that, the banking
Right.
connection. So the American government is still suppressing cannabis, and you're
I know that
All
here.
over the world.
but that's the thing. Now Canada's legal, so Uruguay's saying, hey, we can use Canadian banks.
No, you can't. Not even the Canadians can use Canadian banks because they won't fucking help you.
I knew TG was gonna have something on this. Yes.
Yeah. There's very few, like the big banks, like Bank of Montreal, Royal Bank, Toronto Dominion, the big names. They don't want a fucking thing to do with cannabis. They've actually
Wow.
closed cannabis accounts after the fact that they've said yes, it's okay. Back in the day, but now you're really hard pressed. There's a few credit unions and stuff, but you kind of have to know a guy. It seems like at this point, because very few and far between. If you're a cannabis LP and you want a loan, you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
That's a lot of cock.
Yeah.
It's bullshit, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
So let's move on to some forum news before we carry on. We've got a few competitions up and running right now. We've got the high low, where you can go pick. Well, the first card is going to be the ace of spades, so everybody just pick higher. All right.
But everybody didn't just pick higher.
You know, people have been saying lower, which I can understand. These things happen when you run a 4-room bats full of stoners. You know, we do these things. But if you read it, it says, you know, everybody say higher to enter.
That's
But
the
we'll take
important
lower as
thing.
an entry as well, so it's all good. We don't mind.
That's the important thing. You have to read it.
No, you read the title, higher or lower, right?
That's it, pretty much. You
Yeah.
pick higher or lower, and a card will be drawn every 24 hours. If you're correct, you'll go through to the next stage, and if you're wrong, then you'll be out. But there's going to be some booby prizes as well. So if you get knocked out, and like if you can guess what the next card's going to be exactly, you win something else. So there's going to be a lot of prizes thrown around in this one. So make sure you come and get involved in the competition if you haven't already. Just comment higher on the thread. You'll see it in the sidebar on the forum. We've got a grow off coming up as well with Seedsman. We're going to be growing LA Peyote Kush, which sounds like
Forward to
some
that one.
nice shit.
That is, if you look at the
forgot about
genetics
that
of that,
completely.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it looks nice, right?
It'll put you on your
So
fucking
that's
face.
free seeds there for members of the forum who've got more than 100 posts. But you know, you not necessarily have to have that much. If you're a member of the community and you know you've been around for a while, then you can get involved for free. Just comment on the thread, and then when I get the information from Seedsman of how you can get your seeds, I'll send it over to everybody. So
Okay.
that's pretty sweet. What else we got, lads?
Kush.
Monkey, you're unconventional grow
unconventional.
off.
Yeah, the idea on this one is you're going to grow a cannabis plant in something that's not meant to grow a cannabis plant. And that can be anything you want. I don't care if it's an old shoe, a medicine bottle, an old tire. Hey, fish, I'm listening, man. A wife's old purse, a handbag, whatever you want to do it in. But to do it the best, the fanciest, and most appealing way you can, because this is actually going to be the best picture of a plant grown in a different size or different unusual container.
I'm going out on the hunt for a policeman's helmet.
I
Do
got
it,
such
man.
a good idea, but I
Ooh,
don't
that's a
have one
good
of
one.
these things that I would need to do it.
Ah, well,
I have started the hunt for mine. I went
Okay.
into one shop, lads, and
Yeah.
the girl laughed at me and kind of told me to fuck off.
Well, are we just gonna?
What did you ask for?
Yeah.
Oh, look, I tell you, you're gonna see. I am doing it in a cock pump.
Oh my god.
Wait a
GB,
minute.
Uh,
yeah, don't pretend you've just been to the shop and bought that. You've had that in
No,
the
just
cupboard
got
for a
that
while,
out the
ain't you,
drawer,
mate?
you twat.
Okay.
Hey,
Well,
he's
you're not
trying to
stupid, you
expand
know.
his harvest, mates. He's
I
trying
only
to get a
washed
bigger
it.
harvest with that thing.
Oh, that it is.
Good
From
idea.
we were talking about movies on the forum there last week, and I think it was Ali. I'm not sure. Hasn't seen Van Wilder. Now Van Wilder is one of
Oh,
my
right, yeah.
most favorite movies of
Yeah,
all
right,
time, and I
right.
said to her,
Good
"Have
job.
you not seen the scene? That is not for a bong. That is for my schlong." It just to me, I said like that is just perfect. Weed,
Right.
My god.
cock pump, unconventional,
All
Nice.
right.
Proper unconventional.
and
Took it to
yes,
the
and
next
it
level
is
as usual, GB. Very cool.
so that is my plan.
Laughing too hard,
So
I'm coughing. I can't believe
Shout
you're gonna
out
do
there
that.
to UK Ziff as well. I think I missed you out, mate. What's going on?
Yeah. So anyway, to enter the unconventional grow challenge, just go to Percy's and say you want to participate. Now you're going to have to provide your own container and your own seed for this one, but we're giving away a 10-pack of your choice of any Seedsman seeds. That is a Seedsman's brand, not anything that Seedsman sells, but Seedsman's brand. And we'll give first place is also the newts to grow those 10 plants with.
Nice.
So
sweet.
You're gonna
you
love
need to
it.
put your
Good.
first picture gets posted the first week in September. We need a weekly pick. Now, there's a loophole here, guys. If your seeds aren't in, or if you need tent space yet, doesn't say you have to pop your seed 1st of September. It says I need pictures, so I need to see your container and your media in the container.
Right.
But you're not going to have as much time to finish that plant, but you can still get in there, and you might end up with a winner anyway. So if you want to compete, they got a few loopholes in here that can help you get in.
It's just for fun, man.
Is there one
Just
that
have some
says
fun.
admin can win prizes?
No, it says admins cannot win prizes, but
No,
mods
see?
can win.
No. Loophole I'm looking for.
Boo!
Loophole,
We'll have a word with the
loophole.
admin on that site, man.
Innit?
Oh, well,
This is
yeah,
ridiculous.
You know how it is.
Save
You know
your
how it is.
pity for the weak.
I know, honestly, I think we
All
should
right.
be allowed to enter.
Right.
No, okay.
No,
No, if you want it-
Spartan's
fair.
in the chat
Look,
there. What's going on,
I
mate?
can solve your problem there, zombie. I mean, you, me, and Mackie. Come on, let's do it. 3 of us.
Yeah, I think so too.
Oh,
All
gosh.
right.
Yeah.
There we go. We can do it.
Well,
Look,
don't be
I
upset when I
always
walk
say
off.
at
I've
the-
got
at-
space
Alright.
at the minute as it goes.
at-
So I've
lads,
got
at-
space for both the seedsman and another one.
There you go.
Come here
Alright.
at the end of the day, when it
At the
is
end of the day.
when it is a
Sorry,
competition.
mate.
Enough of your gibber.
I know.
In
Jibber jabber.
at the end of the day, when there is a competition that is being picked and the winner is picked by the members, it doesn't matter if you're admin, a mod, or a fucking known
It's
member
true.
or anything.
That's what I
Whoever
think, yeah.
wins wins
Yeah.
because it's being
Well,
picked by the people.
It could
know?
be that way, but we just, this is
Yeah,
the way.
it's
the way I see it.
As admin, we don't
go with the
really.
general consensus of
We just don't do prizes, mate.
Yeah.
I think it's just fair. It's fair.
Yeah.
No.
Fair is fair.
No, I don't
yeah,
mind.
It's
Plus,
another way to
if
show that
Monkey entered it, any
all,
win it
all the
anyway.
competitions we do are completely legitimate, and we want everybody to see that. And when admin win prizes, no matter
It
how
looks bad.
legitimate you look, it looks bad, man. And we just don't want that kind of impression.
Well-
Our competitions are work hard to make sure that they're shown to be legitimate, and everybody can see that it's fair. You know,
Yeah,
so-
that's true. So
Yeah.
even
And that's
if
why
we
we
did
true,
win,
too,
it'd
very
still
true.
look fair,
Yeah.
wouldn't it?
Very true.
I
I'm
try
not
to keep it
arguing in
as
case. I'm just saying.
transparent as possible.
I don't care.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
admin, man. If you want 10 seeds, let me know.
I know. That's not the thing. That ain't the thing. And I ain't got time to join
Becky.
you bloody silly competitions anyway.
You're going to make everybody think there's an endless river of seeds flowing to admin, brother.
The pretty
It
much
ain't that
is,
way,
really, yeah.
people.
Nice.
Right.
Totally. Thought there was.
Right.
Right then,
I'll just
let's
phone
move on,
Percy's
lads.
seed
'Cause
bank now deliver.
we should
Yeah.
move on to the famous stoners. We got a new intro for this as well. Here we go. Check out all them guys.
Which guys?
Oh yeah, you can't see because you're not watching YouTube.
Very fancy.
But yeah, man, very cool. So GB, who is the famous stoner this week?
Oh. Now, well, tonight, boys and girls, we are going to have a little chat about an amazing legend of the big screen, the little screen, and the stage. For nearly 35 years, she has Oh, I kind of yeah. Well, she has entertained us. I love a lot of her movies. Um, don't really know much about her as a person. I don't watch her on the TV
Mm.
on her show, but her movies, I thought she was good. She is known for stealing one of, apart from one of the best friends of the podcast, Mr. Tommy Chong in The Lion
Oh,
King, and apparently she is known to talk to ghosts. I give you Whoopi Goldberg.
there you go.
I'm loving these intros you come up with every week, GB. It's good shit, man.
I don't know her
Goldberg.
personally, but like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, man. She
so
seems
It's
she seems like a cool chick if she's a stoner, right?
fuck yeah.
yeah, I think what it is,
Everybody's a
she's just
stoner.
very
Just
opinionated.
some people don't tell her.
Like Whoopi. She was on Hollywood Squares and
But
Star
there you
Trek.
can see,
Yeah.
I used to love. That's how one of my favorite shows was Star Trek, and I just before she kind of she has been in nearly all of them. I think now at this stage, hasn't she?
Yeah, she's a big
Star
name.
Treks?
Yeah, you know. And she requested that. She asked him, could she be in that because she was such a fan of the show.
Yeah, I heard
If
that.
anybody smokes weed on the Enterprise too, it's probably Guinan. She's fucking like super enigmatic.
Really, really. And she's been
Yeah,
doing it
but
for
no,
years,
what it
too.
was, she was watching TV when she was a kid, like, and I can't think of the other woman's name, but she was that black woman that was on the answer to what was her name? TG, help me.
The black woman was on that, and that's all I got.
You know,
on the original Star Trek.
Oh, okay.
Uhura.
Uhura,
Yeah.
that's it. She's seen, and she
Nicole.
If
said
you want
to,
help on Star
Yeah.
Trek, you're asking the wrong person.
she asked, she turned to her mother and went,
Michelle
Mama,
Nichols.
Nichelle Nichols, right?
no boys, shush.
skills.
Yeah, she turned to her mama and she said, "Look, mama, there's a black woman on TV and she's not a maid." And that's what pushed her to want to go into drama and into TV, but everything. But what we'll do is we'll go quick. She wasn't born Whoopi Goldberg, as most people would know. She was actually born Karen Elaine Johnson.
She's a Karen.
She's a Karen. Yeah. Explain a lot on The View, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
No? But she was the son of a Baptist minister.
Or
And,
daughter.
a daughter, sorry, yeah. She was the daughter of a Baptist
Is there something
minister.
else we need to know about that?
No,
She was born Robert.
Yeah. Oh, I hope she never hears this because she'll go, "Dad, she's such a fucking ass."
She's a stoner.
He will hunt you
You'll
down, brother.
understand.
So yeah, and her first movie was The Color Purple by Steven Spielberg, which she was
good movie.
nominated for an Academy Award.
She did a great job on that one.
She
Yeah,
did.
did.
That was a fucking epic movie, and she's had so many of them. Like we'll come to the movies in a few minutes, but and did you know she actually she's been over 150 movies.
Whoa! I only know her from
Yeah.
Sister Act and Ghost, bro.
That's going to be a long scroll along the bottom of that screen.
You know.
Yeah. No, there's been a shitload, like 150, and she's one of a few people, like one of like 10 or 15 people or something in the world that have achieved the EGOT. That is to win an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony Award.
No way.
So she has won all of the big ones.
Yeah.
You know?
But she
So, like,
smokes
She
cannabis.
deserves them away.
I
It's good.
know.
How
and
does that
that's
make
the
sense?
mad
That
thing.
surely she's lazy, right?
It goes to show the
You know,
weed
she's
is
a
only
stoner, she's
good
not
for
lazy.
everything. You know, because you look at everybody that we have touched on people in the last like fucking 9 weeks of people from every different field.
Yeah.
And they are like tops of all their fields. And
Crushing
they're
it.
all stoners, man. You know, even going back in history.
Strange, isn't
You
it?
know? Yeah, it's anyway. So where was I?
You're talking about weed.
Goldberg.
And
Yeah.
and she is no stranger to the Mary Jane, so she's not. She has always been a fan of weed. Going back to when she was a teenager, she used to smoke just to get high, like an awful lot of us.
Sensible girl.
And then she continued smoking because she pretty much enjoyed it. But she gave up cigarettes to get healthy. And when she gave up the cigarettes, she went, "Oh, fuck it, I'll give up the weed as well." Because obviously,
And
It's
that's when
got
she
on the,
stopped
like-
winning awards and stopped being in movies and shit. And that's
Yeah,
why
No,
you went
nobody
to
would have forgot who
that's-
she was.
it is
She had to open the foundation.
No, but it's when she started noticing that she was having really, really bad menstrual cramps, and her glaucoma was fucking kicking in and was getting really bad, the headaches and everything. And then she started smoking weed again then, and these start going away. So like she got really big in, and that's what kind of got her into the activism side of it. And she set up a company called Whoopi and
Maya.
Maya. That's it. It was all about
Apparently it's closed
female
down now.
products.
Yeah.
It is. That's unfortunate. It closed down in February this year.
Right.
So I wasn't going to go hugely into it because they had products for like that. It was robes, oils, tinctures, edibles, fucking bath salts, everything, and all of what they done. We in Percy's Grow Room can tell you how to do. There is guides to tell you how to make bath salts, bath bombs, lads. Bath bombs. The women loved them apparently.
Yeah, but I ain't putting
so-
no weed in the bath.
You know, once
Yeah.
in a bed.
No, so
No,
bad, man.
yeah,
It's more better.
apparently. So yeah, and then that went fucking tits up on her. So what could she really do with that? But yeah, no, she's done kind of fucking everything.
The scrolling text at the bottom of the video is annoyingly slow. Thanks for letting us know, Spartan. I'll speed it up for next week, man. That sounds good. I don't know what speed to have it at. You know, it's like
Sister.
it's not actually supposed to be
Go.
read
120
in like
frames
one
per second
sentence.
these days.
Yeah, some people read really fast and some people don't. You know.
Oh.
It's not moving that slow on my side.
If you can read that really fast, then you need to smoke more weed, Spartan.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Smoke more weed, it'll move faster.
Yo, welcome to Hard Homegrown Nick.
So yeah, so that is
TWNE. Shout out to you guys.
that is Whoopi Goldberg.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
good,
It's
sweet.
actually quite hard to find stuff about Whoopi, especially on the fucking internet. I'm gonna have to read a book about her if I want to find something properly. I'd say
Yeah.
because
Well,
everything
that's
for like
true.
fucking 20 pages of the internet was all about her fucking weed company has closed, and I just went, no man, I can't do this anymore. I spent fucking 2 hours trying to go through
Go on
stuff.
her Instagram account and ask her why, and say we run a flipping forum. Do you fancy coming on as a guest?
Don't worry,
Fuck,
I'll
do
do
you know
it.
what?
I'll get on it.
I
Get
never
on the case.
I will. I never even thought of it. I never think about these things.
Ah.
You know, probably because
be
of
a
the weed.
classic. She knows Tommy as well, so we can relate now.
Sup, Small Tubes?
and I didn't know. Fucking it was Cheech Marin was one of the fucking hyenas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Cheech,
thought.
yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, no wonder Tommy and him fell out. I wouldn't have fucking talked to him either. One of my mates done a gig and fucking I was after getting kicked off the fucking panel. Or I said, no, I wouldn't be having it.
Actually, there we go, lads. We should move on from Famous Stoner now and go on to
Okay.
the Grow Guides this week. Here we go.
Into that half an hour average.
Say that was kicking in there was.
Oh boy.
Excellent.
Could it be
Right, so
entertaining grow guide then?
The Grow Guides this week is we're just going to be talking about the mistakes we've made as growers and the mistakes you will probably make as new growers and how you should get over them,
Greenbeard's
not
thinking,
panic too
I've
much.
made a mistake.
You know. So
No. I'm
who wants
thinking
to
I
go
might drop
first,
the other
man?
one now just to be.
GB, you've got some
Oh,
mistakes
right.
recently, right? What are you saying?
Oh, what mistakes? Where do I start?
We ain't got all night,
Day
mate.
one,
Come on, real.
probably.
Yeah.
You know?
I will give my biggest mistake to date, and it was my very first light. I was taking them out to hang them up in the tent, and I dropped it, taking it out of the tent, or taking it out of the box, and it didn't let it landed straight down onto the face of all the lights.
Oh God.
Oh, was it that? That was like fucking 280 quid of a mistake. Like I was so excited. I came in and I was like, oh yeah, doing a little dance, thinking it was great. And then I fell and I was like, oh no.
You're just getting images of you just chucking the light at the plants.
Oh mate, no, I was so angry. You know. The
Good
fucking
evening, Bob.
dogs.
Thanks for joining us, man.
Bob.
Bob,
How
legend.
are you, everybody?
Sorry,
Bob's
GB.
the
Hey,
man.
Bob.
Bob is the man. Oh,
Robert Durbin.
is a legend. Oh,
Oh, GB's your number one fan now, Bob. You're cool.
yeah. He knows already.
So I've made so many fucking mistakes during my time. You know, I've been doing this for a long time now, and I still make mistakes now, all the fucking time. This shit just happens. You know, it's like the trimming. Right, that's one which catches me a lot. Trimming at the wrong time before it's ready, so the stretch carries on too much. So
You end up
I've
with a
veg
jungle
for
at that
too
tent
fucking
there.
long, man. You know, that's another thing that pisses me off. Yeah, hit that thumbs up button if you're enjoying the show. You know, like, subscribe, share with your friends, get the show out there. You know, the more listeners we have, the better.
Yeah.
I like listeners, man. I like this talking about weed and entertaining folk. It's good fun. I enjoy my
Like
Sunday
button
nights.
smashed.
Oh, don't break it though.
Oh, broke
No.
it. It's
Oh,
good.
oh fuck.
Oh shit! I'm number 13.
It's one of my most memorable mistakes is when I went from, because I started off in DWC, and I went from DWC. I wanted to try soil, so I got the bag of soil from the shop and I brought it home, and I was having problems with my plants and shit. And I looked online to find out why, and I realized that I was in cocoa, not soil. So, you know, I had them feeding them and just
That's a
getting
pretty
water.
big
There
one.
wasn't even being fucking pH for like 2 weeks, man. I'm like, what are my plants looking like? They're gonna die, you know? Because I've done a couple of crops
They
in
were.
DWC and did well with them, you know. So I'm like, what the fuck is the problem here? Soil is shit. What the fuck? This soil is killing my plants.
It's like
Right.
he bought an
Look at the
Xbox
bag.
and then he fucking bought some PlayStation controllers for it, though.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mhm.
They don't work.
Work? No. They look cool, but
You can get
dropped.
adapters now. But
I dropped Grace about 5 weeks ago because I have no I take her out and I put her up onto the desk, and that's how I feed her up on a bucket. So I get all the overflow goes into there, and I make sure there's always about 2 liters of over or runoff. I make sure it washes a good fucking gallons and gallons in through it. And I dropped her taking her across. And that's not even when I broke her. That was I just dropped her.
You know,
So
it's one of
that's-
these
at the
fucking
time.
things, man. It's like one of the stupid things which you only realize you've done after you've done it is when you need to move your plants, but you water them first. And it's like, why did you fucking just add how many extra kilos to the pots?
And they're dripping a little bit while
You
you're
know,
moving them across the room
But, like,
and
you know,
leaving
you think-
puddles everywhere.
You think you would move the obstacles like your fucking stool and a different bucket that was there. No,
No.
you just
Put the
leave them there
plant
and go, oh, step around.
put it right behind you too, so when you go to grab the second plant, you totally fucking knock over the first plant.
yeah, that's always
always
a good
fun.
idea.
I only knocked over the bong just before the show.
Yeah.
You know,
So
fuck's sake.
You catch it.
Yeah.
No, it went fucking everywhere.
Oh,
It
no.
didn't break, but
Oh.
it nearly destroyed the laptop.
What about you,
Got me.
Monkey? You got some mistakes you've made?
Oh, big first one I'd made was trying to do research before I started growing. Now, let me explain that before anybody jumps on me about that. I had quite a few years experience flower garden, ornamental gardening. So I was very familiar with horticulture. And in cannabis, I thought, well, it's no big deal. I've kind of dabbled in it before, but I decided, okay, I was an experienced soil grower. Let me just go ahead and I know how to make what I call my soil. I'm just going to grow cannabis in that. But I decided to check it on the internet, and man, that was so much bad information on how to make soil and what it's supposed to be, and it's got a pH this and add that and leave this. So I tried to do what they said to do, and the soil that came out, I mean, the pH was way off. I mean, it smelled wrong. I can't describe it. If you got years experience making soil, there's a certain odor, and it just wasn't right.
So it's like
I ended up
the ground.
I ended up throwing all of that away, and I said, "To hell with it! I'm using cocoa." So I jumped on the internet and I grabbed a brick of cocoa, and I got it home, and I just hydrated it, added some perlite in it, threw it in the pots, and started growing. And everything was pretty good for a while, you know. And then of course pH lockout. First thing, I didn't have a pH meter, so that's about that. You get a pH meter. Then, because I didn't flush the peat first and get the fines out of it, out of the cocoa, and because I didn't buffer the cocoa, I ended up with too much water, sick roots, deficiency. So basically, what was my biggest mistake was my first run. Everything. Complete.
Everything. The
I
whole
ended
thing.
up.
But how much did you
Well,
learn from it, man? You know?
I learned a lot because I ended up correcting most of it midstream, as much of it I could. I did start using the cow mag. I did get the plants growing better. I did make it to harvest with an ounce off of each plant. It wasn't the best weed. It was overfed. It was probably harvested at the wrong time, but the second run was way better. So basically what I did is I didn't join a grow room and ask questions was my biggest mistake.
Well, you see, that's where I done all right, because what I didn't research on how to grow anything. I researched my forum first.
Uh-huh.
Right.
I went through about 5 or 6 forums, and I
Mhm.
asked just through a couple of questions and just said, "Oh, hey, God, how do I do this, or how do I?" And I got smart answers and fucking cocky fuckers showing you
I
shit.
know where you went.
Yeah. And so I kind
Now,
of
now.
I'm not going to throw names or anything. And then I came to Percy's and I asked a question. And the first question, because I had actually just jumped in and tried to do it, and I fucked up the very first couple, they just all died. But they put me straight away, and I had a very successful first harvest because I was
It's
put
important, man.
right from the very beginning.
If you can just get the help from the start, just guidance
Mm.
is. That's what we offer the most at Percy's. We don't tell you what to do. We'll guide you in the right direction because we want you to learn for yourself. We don't want to just give you all the information. We'll guide you in the right direction to the right level where you learn as well.
Mm. It is cool. So that's
Yeah.
the best advice I can give anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Join
What I
Percy's.
mean,
Ask for
Join
help.
Percy's,
Ask for
exactly.
help
uh,
before you need it because you see
Yeah.
it often about people try and do it on their own when you
Mhm.
don't have to. Come and get help from Percy's. But if you try and do it on
Mhm.
your own, then you're gonna maybe some people get away with it. But if you make mistakes and your plants start looking ill, you're gonna come along and sign up anyway and ask for help when your plant's already sick. So you might as well prevent all of the plant problems in the first place
Mhm.
and just come and sign up and get help at the start of the grow.
Yeah.
Welcome to High on Homegrown, JK. So, yeah, man. So,
I mean, everything I've done on my first, let's say, 2 or 3 grows are mistakes. And we'll talk about the biggest common mistake most everybody makes is we overfeed. I mean, you try and do exactly what the bottles say, and that's the worst thing in the world you can do. Because the only thing the bottles are doing is selling more nutrients to the manufacturers, and eventually going to make your plant sick if you feed them at full strength.
yeah.
It's scary to say that, but it's unfortunately the truth.
So,
So
TG,
I mean,
what are you
that's a
saying,
big
man? You
one.
got some mistakes?
Nope.
Nope.
Never
Good
made a
answer.
single one.
No, I'm just kidding. Of course. I just want to touch on Monkey, what he said about the online thing. Like, don't trust everything. Obviously, you read online. Same goes for grow shops, pamphlets, all of that kind of stuff.
And in
But
fairness, the grow shop will only fucking sell you. Well, they'll try to
right.
tell you this is the best because this costs $50,
Hmm.
where really this for like $15 is really
Well,
do
we've
you
said it
better.
Or
before,
there's
we'll say it again. Be skeptical of all
Mhm.
information.
Sorry
All
for
of it.
I must
interrupting, brother.
have the most honest grow shop
Oh no.
in the country then, because they don't tell me anything. They just say, oh yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's no, I wouldn't bother with that.
Well,
That's
my
okay.
grow shop know that I'm a writer for soft secrets and things like that. So they don't really offer me
Yeah.
advice because they think I've got it handled.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, if you
No
go to a
bullshit, just
proper,
in case.
if your grow shop is good, they probably won't carry too much bad shit anyway.
Yeah,
Like
but
if
this
they're
is it.
really,
Yeah,
but yeah, if they're capitalist dickbags that are just carrying
Yeah,
yeah.
but
shit.
Shelf after shelf of
if you
content.
know a good grow shop, in fairness, if you're going into a grow shop, doesn't matter if they're fucking nice or if they're dickheads or if they're what behind the thing. Once they have the product you're looking for when they go in the door, that's the main thing.
Yeah,
That's
and the
right.
price you want to
Mhm.
pay for it.
Yeah.
For sure, man.
But
Yeah.
I can argue with my grow shop. I could say, listen, I can find this online with free delivery. Can you match that price? And they'll go, fuck's sake, here he is again.
Yeah,
Go on then.
no, they can't match that price, man, because they've got rent to pay and heating bills and
Mhm.
stuff. You have to pay a little bit extra when you go to the shop. Come on, man. It's
No.
economics.
You do. Well, you do. It's a more
No.
personal feeling.
This is
Now,
why Amazon is taking over the world because of you, and just because of
No.
you one
No,
person
I go to the
on
shop.
your
I
own.
don't go to Amazon. I go to the shop, but I argue like a twat.
Yeah,
I
but
say,
you've been on
listen,
Amazon to look up your prices before you go
du-du-du-du-du-du-du.
there.
Nah, well, yeah, okay.
Well, that's the
But
point.
I don't
That's a
buy
good
anything
point.
off
Due
Amazon.
diligence, man.
Mhm.
You got to
You
do
know,
it
you got
because
it's one of them things. Economy's on the way down. You got to make your thing.
yeah, we all have gone into the sunglass store, tried on a bunch of pairs of sunglasses, and then gone to fucking eBay and paid
Of
50% less.
course.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same shit.
Yeah.
I am gonna just say one thing. My grow shop are actually really cool.
Good, good.
Just to throw that in there. because they are really
there are
sound.
good ones, just like anything, right?
And plus, they give me discount.
No, my grow shop, they're fucking great, man. The one time, it was a while ago, I was broke, had no money, but my pH meter was fucked and I needed a fucking
Oh yeah,
new
yeah. I
pH
remember
meter. No, EC meter it was. And I've gone and I've bought a cheap one for like 12 quid. And I bought it at home and I'm testing it out, and it was fucking terrible. And I've took it back, and I'm like, look, mate, this isn't going to work for me. My plants are on the verge of fucking dying, and I need to fix them because I don't know what the EC is. Can you borrow me an EC meter, and I'll give you the money for it next week? And he's like, yeah, man, we know you're cool. Yeah. And he's giving me fucking a Hannah Growline EC meter, which was worth like 70, 80 quid it was at the time. Just like, bring the money in next week. And it's happened before when I've gone there because I prefer to pay by cash. So I'll go into the shop and I'll be like, just pop the cash point up the road, and the cash point's broken. Happens a lot around there. And then you go to the other one, which is even further up the road. That one's broken. I've come back in and I'm like, look, man, cash point's broken. It's like, it's all good, man. Just bring it in next time you're in. So it's
It is
nice
when you get a
you've
good
got them
rapport
guys,
with them. And
I
you
would
only
tell you all
get
which
that.
one it was, but obviously I can't because they're explosives.
Yeah. But you only get that when you have a good rapport with your grow shop, and it's only if you have loyalty to your grow shop. It's the
I've
same.
got loyalty to my
anything.
grow shop, but they don't like the actual mention of the word cannabis anywhere near them. They're a bit weird like that.
Yeah.
Which is,
That's true.
So
It used to
Ziad,
be like
let's,
that
let's
here,
go back. Oh no, is it TG? What other mistakes are you saying, man?
Oh well, yeah. Just vouch for your sources. Like I was saying, I've seen like here in Canada, it's legal now, and so there's a lot of guides and shit out there that look official, that are written by so and so doctor this or blah 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 that work for whatever company. But I've read a lot of them, and they're pretty fucking incomplete, most of them. So yeah, watch where you get your information. But in terms of actual grow mistakes that I've made, like I would say like pH issues are a big one. Make sure that whatever you're watering, I know for cocoa guys, it's kind of second nature because you got to pH your water when you use your newts anyway. But even if you do like a super soil or a living soil type of grow like I do, it's important to have proper pH.
Yeah,
because
it's
it
a
is
good point,
like
mate.
in
Yeah,
small ponds.
because
It's
you
a
see a
closed
lot of
system,
places
right?
say you don't have to check pH when
Yeah,
you're growing in soil.
I got told that by one of
crazy,
the garden shops here in town, and I'm like, I mean, I've literally, I forgot to pH my water for 2 weeks, and after 2 weeks, the plants were like super curled over, fucking top leaves. They just looked like shit, right? So after a good flush, there was no problem. But I checked my pH, and it was fucking 8.2 in the runoff. Like
Damn.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, that was a big one. Leaving a male in the tent, I've done that. I had,
Right.
I've got, I was like, I think that's a male, and I'm pretty sure that's a male, but I don't think. Maybe I'll wait a couple more, whatever. And then I ended up fucking leaving for work, and then came back, and yeah, it was a sperm fest in there. So trust your gut. If it's a male, don't take the risks.
Yeah, just get. Well, if you think it's a male, get a second opinion.
Yeah,
unless
for
you
sure.
know what you're doing. If you're experienced and you know for sure what balls look like, what flat, then cool, man. Then you're free to cut it down and shit. But if you're unsure, get a second opinion, because sometimes calyxes grow and they can look a little bit like male plants.
Exactly, right?
And there's been a lot of
That was
plants
the
that have been
issue.
killed because people have thought they were hermy when it wasn't a hermy. It was just a calyx, which is part of the female growth. So if you're unsure at all, come to Percy's and get it checked. And you don't
seen
rush as
loads of
well.
pictures
If you see the
on
flowers, then you can
Facebook.
wait a few days before the pollen is actually viable. It takes a week to 10 days before it can pollinate the plant, so there's no rush. You don't have to do anything overnight. Get a second opinion.
Yeah.
What are you saying, Zombie?
Yeah, the only.
No, you got one more,
sorry.
TG? You got another?
No, I was just gonna say drying too hot, too fast. It's an easy way to fuck up 6 months of work in fucking 7 days, right? So
That's a really common new grower mistake, because you really will want to smoke that stuff.
Yeah.
You rush through your harvest, you rush through your dry, and you end up really cutting yourself short.
So Ian, you got mistakes, right?
I got loads of them. How many do you want?
About 3 is cool.
Okay. Well, on a regular basis, I take branches off all of my plants with the side pockets on my trousers, because they're always full of stuff, and they hang off the side of my trousers. These are work trousers, isn't it? So and I'll go and feed my plants, and the pockets get in the way, and I look down and I think, oh, there's another one. So out comes the tape. Lots of tape, lots of yo-yos, lots of string. That Mars light. I'd had it about a week and I dropped it. Well, I didn't know I'd dropped it. Um, it fell inside the tent and ended up like sideways into one of the plants, and it toasted the bud on the whole of the plant on one side. What else? Oh, I forgot that I was filling up a jug and came downstairs and left it and emptied 25 litres of water all over my bedroom floor. Um, yeah, that's 3. Do you want some more?
Sometimes you completely forget that you're growing, don't you?
I forget. Yeah, well, yeah. Well, recently I've kind of done that because I've been a bit of a spaceman, but I'm okay now. So I've remembered that I've actually got 2 tents on the go and a drying tent and all that crap upstairs. So yeah, I'm all right. I'm good to go.
That's it, man. These things happen, you know. We all make mistakes, and as long as you learn from them, it's all good. So, Zien, stop going into your tent with stuff in your pockets.
I know. Yeah, I need to get changed when I come in, but
Yeah, they're busy,
it happens.
busy. You know, it takes up a lot of time sometimes.
And then half the time I'm back out again. So
But, you know,
I'll be getting changed again to go disappearing back out. So no, I'll just stay as I am until I go to sleep.
but you know, mistakes happen. Don't
Yeah.
judge yourself too harshly. Remember that we're all on a learning curve. No matter how experienced you are, these mistakes will happen, and you just learn to overcome them. You know,
They're not
breaking
the end of the
branches is a
world.
regular thing for
Oh,
new
yeah.
growers as well, and
But
they
they
panic.
happens.
recover.
Yeah, just tape it up,
They
man.
do recover quite well.
Bit
But
of tape. Sorry,
Yes,
Chips.
yes, yes, yes.
they don't recover if you
They do that, don't
snap
they?
them. If
Well,
you
if you snap 'em
snap them
clean,
clean
no.
off.
No, they do, mate.
Yeah,
They
they don't
do.
work then. You got to stick them in a bucket of water then.
No,
and hope
I've
for
had
the
it, man.
best.
I have had a branch completely break off, completely off the plant,
You can
and
graft
I've
it back,
taped
but
it
it's
back
rough.
on,
Yeah.
and it was fine, mate. It was
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
Them
yeah.
plants will fucking overcome anything. It is ridiculous. You know,
You can graft a fucking cannabis branch to a hops plant.
yeah,
One.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's it,
As
man.
long as it's a
Grafting,
decent
yeah.
size house
Grafting
plant.
is a good subject. We'll cover that one day, but that's way down the line. You know?
Another,
Okay.
I don't know if you's covered about power tripping. They just
No,
Power
no.
tripping, as in electric power
as in
tripping.
the Alecki lads. Happened to me a couple of weeks only ago. The Alecki went in the storm, and I went out, and when the Alecki came back on, went, oh fucking look at the humidity was at like fucking 99 in the tent. Everything was just gone haywire. But didn't I forget the big fan in the back? You have to turn that on separate.
Oh yeah, I've got that same
Everything
problem
else
as well,
came
mate,
back
yeah.
on, but that one didn't, and
Oh,
it was
no.
only it was 24 hours again until I realised that.
Oh no.
You know, you
Yeah.
need that air to be moving in there, man. Them mold spores will
You do.
germinate.
Like
She
a
didn't.
tropical
It
jungle in there.
didn't do any damage to her this time. I
As
hope
far as
not.
you know.
Anyways, as far as I know, she's smelling very nice.
Yeah,
But,
what are you guys
yeah.
using for tape, mate? Anything. I've used duct tape,
Anything.
fucking masking tape, sellotape. I've used
Yeah.
any. Sometimes I haven't even used tape. I've just stilted it back up and supported
Yeah,
it with something. And
with
as
another
long
branch.
as it don't move, as long as it's still, and you know, the most important thing is like splinting it like a broken leg. You know, you want something to make sure that it stays still, and the plant will fix itself in like 24 hours. It's already fixed. Give it a few more days after that, and it's solid as if it was. But well, you'll see scarring, like it will be a bit thicker around there. But within a few days to a week, it won't even slow down. Sometimes it might even improve the rate of growth in that particular stem. You know, which is like super cropping. But that's another one which go into the future as well. But you know, the mistakes you make, just turn them into lessons, and they don't end up such bad mistakes. Then you know.
Yeah,
And
if you
if
do
you,
them for a second time, you ain't learnt shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've done the nutrient mix wrong because I was too stoned and couldn't remember what went first, second, or third. So I
Yeah,
ended
I've
up
done
having to
that
throw
too.
the whole tank out and start over.
Well, you're lucky.
Well, it's
Well,
better
I
than
say I'm
taking
lucky
a risk.
in
You
that
know?
case.
Well, yeah,
Mine are
but I
only
mean,
2 litre jugs.
yeah,
But
that
one
just
more
taught
thing we
me.
should cover.
I take them out in order now and put them down on the table in order so I don't make a mistake.
I
Now.
still fuck it up.
Yeah, one more thing we should cover before we move on to the next section is overfeeding the plants, because that happens.
Yeah.
Every
A
new
lot
grower
as
does
well.
that pretty much.
Everybody's done that.
You know,
But that it's very easy to overfeed, Mackie, when the bottle tells you to
It is,
overfeed.
but if you ignore what it says on the bottle,
yeah,
then it's not, because I mean, like Mackie's already touched on the fact that, was it Mackie? Was it Monkey? Can't remember.
One of us.
About the fact that like manufacturers will say any old shit on the back of their bottles to make you use it twice as fast, so you grow twice, you buy twice as much.
Exactly.
So, you know, if you come like it's been said, if you come to Percy's, We'll tell you not to use half as much. We'll tell you to use half as much.
We tell
and
you to
you'll
use
save it.
quarter as much as when it tells you on the
Right,
label
quarter
to
as
start
That's
much.
what
with.
I'm running it right now, quarter. I
Yeah.
mean, it works.
There you
It
go.
works lovely.
There's one thing I read years ago, and it always stuck with me. It's like it's easier to fix an underfed plant than it is to fix an overfed plant.
It
So it's
is.
That's true.
always better to underfeed a little. Toxicity is
Mhm.
a lot worse than a small deficiency. So keep the feed light and watch the plant. That's what's going to tell you the most. You
Yeah.
learn to read the plant over time, so you don't need to read the nutrient bottle. You can tell by the color of the plant and the way the leaves are growing whether you need to put a certain amount of a particular nutrient in it or not, or whether the
Yeah.
pH is off, or whether anything needs adjusting at all. It's a learning curve. It takes a few grows, but you get there
Yeah, and
eventually.
every strain's a
Yeah.
little different, so you learn a little bit about each strain, and when you grow it a second time, it's a little easier.
And with
So
mistakes, you learn from them, but it's better to learn from other people's mistakes. And when you come over to a forum like Percy's Grow Room, then there's a lot of people there who've already made these mistakes and can prevent them from you making them as well. So get over there
yeah,
if
and
you're going to start, and we can help you out every step of the way. There'll be less mistakes. There'll be happier plants.
we try not to make fun of anybody making mistakes because we've all done it.
Oh, we
Every
don't.
last
Yeah,
one of
yeah.
us.
We all do it, man. We never give anybody a hard time because nobody wants
Mm-mm.
shit cannabis plants, man. Nobody does it on purpose, you know.
Mhm.
So
Put all the work into it to end up with shit plants.
you
No
know,
thanks.
condolences and shit will just try and help you fix it. You know, you can't,
That's
can't
all
give
we
anybody
do.
a hard time. They're feeling shit
No,
already because their plant is not looking good. So why give anybody a hard time? I don't understand why
nah, we
people
don't
do
do
that.
that. We don't do that.
But anyway, so with that amount of mistakes, if you have any mistakes that you need help with, of course, get over there and sign up to Percy's Grow Room. But for now, we're going to move on to the next section, strain of the week. See that new screen as well? If you're watching a YouTube video,
Yeah,
got little strains all across the screen there. What you saying,
Ooh,
Monkey?
some
Very
pretty
fancy.
pictures. This week, let's talk about a strain that we've already talked about the parents about. Now, according to somebody in the chat, this is probably going to be a little controversial, but we talked about OG Kush and we talked about sour diesel. Now we put these two together and we cross them when we come up with a famous strain called Headband. Now I know that Spartan originally said that Headband was an offshoot of OG Cushafino, but everything I could find on it, now I'm not saying that's incorrect, but everything I could find was a little bit different.
Yeah.
So let's gonna go with that. But anyway, Headband being a cross of OG Kush and sour diesel, it comes in at about 19 to 23% THC. It's a classic out there, and it's a heavy hitter in the sativa market. Uh, it's a very popular West Coast strain, a 60/40 strain with low CBD levels. So Headband is used to treat conditions that respond well to THC, things like pain, anxiety, those type of things. Definitely is not something that you would use for insomnia. Uh, Headband is how would you describe the flavor? Kind of like piney, diesely, skunky,
I don't even think I've
funky.
tried Headband before.
no, I
Well,
can't say I have.
I can't say that I've had a lot of it. I guarantee that.
Mm.
TG, have you had it?
Well, there's a local guy here in the city that has his own version of headband, but
Mhm.
I've never had. Well, anything that I can say is true headband. I know that Humboldt Seed Company, or sorry, Humboldt Seed Organization is they have a 707 headband, comes from NorCal, and I think that's a pretty true to form version of it, but I'm not too sure, to be quite honest.
Yeah, that is one that I believe is one of those true to form names for Headband. The classic on Headband, the reason it's called Headband though is because it's one of those strains that it gives a very cerebral effect, almost like a tightness around the cranium, the pressure in the temples. It has an interesting kind of a nickname called Phantom Sweatband because it also dilates the blood vessels on some people around the temples, and it can kind of give you that rush of heat to your head. So sometimes people sweat a little bit after smoking it. So it's kind of an interesting little side on there, though. But it's being a diesel pungent with a skunky, rubbery kind of flavor. Does that really sound like something that I want? No,
Monkey,
but I
monkey, your
guarantee I'm gonna try
monkey,
it.
monkey, your avatar's messing around on your picture there. I don't
Is it
want I
Yes,
don't
messing?
want you coming off your camera or something. So
almost a
make
full
sure it's
moon
covered.
there. Eclipse.
Yeah, not to worry.
Is it
That's
sorted?
fine.
Okay, cool,
It's all sorted. That's just a little light, not a problem.
cool.
But anyway, you can get versions of Headband from many different places, such as Humble Seeds. Visit visit our favorite seed vendor, the Vault, and they've got lots of them that'll fix you up. And about 9-ish to 10-ish weeks of flower time, you end up with small greenish spade-looking buds with dark reddish brick hairs, and definitely a diesel smell on those things. So give it a shot, try it.
Yeah, man, for sure.
If drop by Percy, since we've never heard about it, give us a smoke report.
Mm.
That's
You know,
it.
that we'd all
Send
appreciate
us
that.
some in a little jar.
That would be
No,
even
you
better,
can't
but you
do
know, I'm not
that.
going to
No,
suggest
don't
that.
do that. Don't
Well,
listen to Zian. He's a bad person.
Well, maybe if you're in
Bullseye.
Canada, you send some to TG.
Yeah, it is legal here to do that.
Yeah, that'll be the only way we'd ever say to
You
do
know,
that,
yeah, there's
so.
a lot of controversy behind this strain, it seems, but that is something that happens with a lot of fucking strains because
Yeah.
they've been bred and
Yeah.
Mixed with so many different things. It's like
Yeah,
there's so many different
original
versions of
disappeared.
White Widow. What's the fucking original? You know, and it's
Well,
the same with a
Shanti
lot of
Baba.
strains. Yeah, but
Black
when you
Widow.
smoke it, say you go to Amsterdam and you smoke White Widow, it's a version of White Widow. You don't know if you're getting
Yeah,
the
Mm.
original phenotype. That shit that I smoked when I was 15. You know,
I
that
think
shit.
you got to go to Mr. Nice or maybe Sensi would be close, but
Maybe Greenhouse in it because they chase the land races and try to go back to the original all the
Right,
time.
right. Hmm.
there's actually a really good blog just exactly about that on Seedsman's website if anybody's interested in that. But that's not
a
a
nice White Widow.
yeah the White Widow history. But we're talking about headband, so
So cool. I love the history of strains, man. But there's so many
Yeah.
now. It's not like it used to be. Remember back in the day when it was just like 10 strains?
Well, I could do that. That's real easy. I've probably smoked all 10 of those, but
You know?
nowadays, my
But
gosh,
what
there's
do we
10
have? It's
strains
Northern
coming out
Light,
every
Afghan
day.
Kush, Bubblegum. Remember Bubblegum? Yeah. And then White Widow, of course. Did I say
Northern
Northern Lights.
Lights.
Already? Did I say that?
Did you?
yep.
As Tommy
Blueberries.
Chong,
Blueberry came out, yeah.
You know,
as
Like a
Tommy
big
Chong said, there's that
cow.
many strains out. When somebody asks him what's he smoking,
Ah.
he just says weed.
Marijuana.
Marijuana.
That's it. Yeah.
Boom.
That's how
it,
he
though.
said it as well. Right, sweet man.
So
So
expect me to
headband.
cover many different strains and read about a lot more that I've never smoked.
Yeah, man.
I'm more interested in telling you about the ones I have smoked. And I knew Spartan was going to say some of these things in chat here. He's telling me all about how it's a pheno of different ones. And I believe you,
Yeah, he
brother.
did
One
that
day
on
we'll chat.
purpose.
We'll
Yeah,
get
man.
together, and I really like that conversation.
Hey,
to be honest
Spartan,
with
if
you.
you're free on Tuesday, maybe you want to jump into the higher on homegrown session with us and we can all just chat some shit. That'd be cool.
That'd be great.
Oh, be a bit of crack.
Let us know,
Got a
man.
little
If
bit of
you're
time?
free, you're always
Drop in.
welcome. Yeah, man. And now we should move on to the interview transition. Oh, we're already there. Sweet. Thanks, Monkey. Nice strain of the week. So this week's interview was with somebody from an organisation known as NORML. You might know these guys if you were in the States, but because they're not so well known in the UK. But when we say NORML, it's normal without the A. It's an acronym for what their company stands for, which I can't think right now because I'm on high on homegrown. But you know, it's all explained in the interview.
I think we kind of call
It's
it an
the-
interview too. Yeah, we do.
National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws.
That's right. That's the
Correct.
one.
That is correct.
And as we said earlier in the podcast, these guys have been going for 50 years this year. So they've done a lot of work since the 70s. Carly mentions that at one point when they first started, it was 16% in favor of legalization of cannabis, and now it's more like 66% in favor.
Yeah, we've jumped like 50% above where it used to be, which puts us way above majority. So we're
What's
there.
That
We're not there.
1% a year.
Done a lot of good work all around the world, man.
Really.
Yep, here in Canada too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There's a UK chapter, an Irish chapter.
Oh,
The Irish
any
chapter
further
is
forward
actually
is
being
better than nothing.
redone.
Yeah? What they're saying, GB?
The
It's going to change hands, is it?
The Irish chapter is changing. Well, it's not changing as such. It's joining up with another organisation that's here that's been doing great things, and they're rebranding it to make it. I think it's more professional, or to show us more professional people. It's because it's to try change the image of
So it's a bunch
cannabis.
of stoners then normal.
Yeah, so
Pretty much, mate. Yeah, what they stand for is the same as Percy's. It's like they should just be complete decriminalisation of personal possession and growing a personal amount of cannabis. There should be no punishment for that whatsoever.
Yeah,
it's a great interview, man.
Absolutely.
And
It is good.
it's our first lady who we've had on the show, man. It's difficult to get ladies on the show. There's not many in the cannabis field, so that was pretty cool. We don't do that very much. Always blokes, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, we don't mind doing it, but just if there's some more out there, we'd love to know
Oh
about
yeah,
them.
for sure, man. We want to get more ladies involved in the cannabis field. We don't see enough of them. It should be
I might
50-50,
have
but it
somebody in
isn't.
mind actually.
You know. So ladies, don't be so shy, man. Get involved. Start growing some plants. You'll fucking love
Lot
it.
of ladies, lot of ladies leading the fight over here, I have to say.
Yeah, cool, man. Cool.
Mhm.
That's what we'd like to see. Right, so we'll move on with the interview. It's about 25 minutes long, 25, maybe 27 minutes long. So we'll be back then. Enjoy.
Oh yeah. Hey, Carly, how you doing?
Carly.
Hello, everybody.
So how are you today, Carly?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to be here. Thank you guys so much for inviting me.
So let's
Excellent.
briefly introduce ourselves. I'm Mackie. We're all from Percy'sGrowRoom.com, a cannabis growers forum and website. And this is our podcast, High on Homegrown. We've also got Monkey.
Yeah, I'm from the southern United States, also at Percy's.
Yeah, and then there's Temple Grower from Canada.
Yeah, no, I'm up in Saskatchewan here in Canada. Legal land, if you want to call it that,
Yes.
I guess.
But it's not all it's cracked up to be.
Absolutely not. Yeah, I can say that. I mean, you can smoke weed out in your backyard, I guess, without kind of risk of the cops smelling it and then coming and kicking down your fence. But that's about it. Everything else is either the same or worse up here.
So, Carly, do you want to tell us about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, sure. So I'm actually originally from New Jersey. I went to school at University of Maryland, which is a few minutes outside DC. I actually started interning for NORML while I was still in college. I was studying criminal justice, so I was really interested in, that aspect of marijuana reform. And I came across NORML as an organization. They had some presence on my college campus. So yeah, I mean, I found a really awesome way to combine my passion for criminal justice reform and my love for marijuana. So in my role now, I am the state policies coordinator. So I work closely with a lot of advocates in states where we have NORML chapters. I work with them at the state level as well as state lawmakers to, advocate for sensible marijuana policy reform.
Awesome. So a lot of the work Normal's done over the last few years has made a big difference in the laws in America, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've been around since 1970. We're the oldest marijuana reform organization. And I always like to share this. Back then, when NORML was founded, public support for marijuana legalization was only at 12%. And now, 50 years later, this is actually our 50th anniversary year. I think we're at now 66%.
Whoa, that's massive.
Yeah, at least in the US, it's 66. I don't know about.
It's amazing that we're 66% and still not federally legal.
I
Yeah,
know,
it is.
yeah. And it's also majorities of all major political parties, so it's very much bipartisan. We have support from, across the aisle.
Right.
Um,
Well, let me ask you, since we're on that subject across the aisle, do you think there's any hope for this in the next presidential term?
I really hope so. I mean, out of all the Democratic candidates for president, Joe Biden was probably the least progressive in his policy positions on marijuana.
I would have to agree.
But I think his positions are better than Trump's. So I think especially with the VP nominee, Kamala Harris, I mean, she's the lead sponsor on the most comprehensive marijuana reform bill that was ever introduced in Congress. So that's something.
Yeah, very much so. And I hope you're right about this. I hope that we do have a friendly administration incoming.
Yeah, I hope so, or at least one that's not going to, crack down on states that already have legal markets or anything like that. That's been a fear in the past and with this administration. So hopefully
Right.
that's not going to progress into the next, or if we have a new administration come next year. But
That's true. Now, are you also involved in any international efforts?
we do have some international NORML chapters. I believe there are a couple in Europe and maybe in Africa. I don't work super closely with them. I mainly work on US states, but yeah, we do have some NORML presence overseas for sure.
We have a chapter up here in Canada for sure too.
Yep, there's a Canada chapter. Yeah, I forgot about them. They were actually pretty involved in the advocacy efforts there.
And still are, and there's lots of more work to do. Like the
Yeah.
medical system, for example, is coming up for amendment next year, and they're talking about even just kiboshing the whole thing. So
Oh,
yeah,
really? Wow.
there's definitely activism work to be done, and they are doing good work. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like people think that once we have legalization, all the advocacy stops, but there's so much more to be done after that. So
Absolutely, yeah.
So I don't even know if we said exactly what NORML stands for. Why don't you go ahead and give us that?
yeah, sure. So NORML, um, like I said before, we advocate for sensible marijuana policy reform.
Oh, no, excuse me. I'm sorry. I meant the acronym, National Organization for the
Oh.
Reform of Marijuana Law.
Yes, it does stand for National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws.
The only reason I brought that up is we have an international audience, and some of them are likely not to know that.
We're not very good with acronyms.
Especially when we have 4 countries represented on our podcast.
Yeah, but something that makes NORML unique and kind of sets us apart from some of the other advocacy groups is that we solely represent the consumer rather than the industry.
That's it. You stand for a lot of what Percy's Grow Room stand for. Well, I suppose you've been around for a lot longer than us, so we stand for the same things as you. You know,
Good way to put
like
it.
personal use, just complete decriminalization at least of personal use and growing a personal amount of your own cannabis.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, NORML 100% supports the right for personal cultivation rights. Another thing, a big issue that we advocate for is expungement of past convictions. I'm sure, as you guys know, a marijuana conviction follows someone for the rest of their lives, and that stigma attached to it.
Yep.
Plus, inability to get adequate employment opportunities, housing. It could even hinder like federal aid for college. So that there's a lot of ways that conviction can kind of stay with you and
So
affect.
that's an interesting one with these with having convictions expunged. There's some states that are already doing that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That have are those convictions still held like federally? Because I suppose it's conviction on you get convicted federally and according to state law as well. So the state law gets expunged. Does the federal law still hold?
Yeah. Unfortunately, federal could
Right.
still withhold.
And I suppose that's still going to have problems when it comes to finding a job and things like that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, especially if you're trying to work for like the government or anything like that. Yeah, big issue is also with like veterans. A lot of them, or most of them, that have VA benefits. That's a government agency, so veterans can't access medical marijuana, even though they use it at higher rates than the general population, which is really unfortunate too.
Carly, I was going to ask you a little bit about what are your activities in the South? Personally, I live in the Deep South. And as you probably are well aware, the Deep South is one of those pockets that NORML just is helping, but hasn't fully cracked yet.
Yeah, I think it's definitely tough in the South with more conservative leaning politicians. So there's definitely efforts to, I think, first and foremost, expand medical access for patients. Since all the therapeutic benefits of marijuana, and especially I mentioned veterans, it's shown to have uses with PTSD and other chronic pain and things like that. So I think most places in the South start by focusing on medical access, and it's kind of incremental from there.
Yeah.
Pretty much the pattern we've seen around the rest of the country then is we first get medical in and show people that there is no evil. And then after we take that fear away, we ask for a little bit more freedom. Yeah,
for sure. And I think that it definitely happens in baby steps. So while you might think there might not be momentum for progress, I think that it's there. I think that more politicians are talking about it, which is something. Even in the past like 3 years that I've been with NORML, I've seen it become so much more mainstream, and so many more politicians running and campaigning on the issue and winning on the issue. So it's kind of cool to see it evolve as an issue that way.
Do you have an opinion on, a lot of the states are jumping on the bandwagon of cannabis for the money? I mean, it's a big temptation. But unfortunately, in some of these states that get too greedy, the program gets so screwed up, it basically re-energizes the black market system.
Right.
Does NORML get involved with maybe educating the states that there's a better way to do this?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we have kind of what NORML believes is like what the ideal, regulatory program should look like. And I guess a big part of that is an inclusive industry and, reducing those barriers for people to enter the industry, especially for those people that have historically, been targeted by the war on drugs. And, those communities that have really been devastated by marijuana prohibition. We want to see those people getting into the industry and not, the big companies. And
that's the Canadian model.
usually the way it happens. But, in states like Illinois, I think that was really monumental, because not only were they the first state to pass legislation for that regulatory market through the legislature rather than by voter initiative, they included a pretty comprehensive social equity model. That includes, social equity programs for businesses as well as expungements and, tax revenue being directed towards those communities that have been most affected by the war on drugs. So I think that's going to be, the place to look at as the new market becomes more mature in the next few years and stuff like that.
You must have seen a lot of different models heading towards legislation in different states. Which one would you say was the best one you've seen so far?
I definitely think Illinois is up there. It's better to include like the way they did it, but they included all like that social justice stuff from the beginning, rather than like a state like Massachusetts that kind of tried to go back and do it, which is not working as well. So I think really honing in on those social justice aspects is super important. And I think
definitely.
I guess that'd be the only way that would be fair if you suffered from the industry so much that you should at least now be able to participate in good times. But
right, exactly.
That's not always the case, is it? We have a lot of big money, a lot of big corporation being involved in a lot of legal states in the U.S., unfortunately.
Especially with states that only have like a very limited number of licenses, it just becomes a game of who can pay the most. So
it's like a lottery.
Yeah, exactly.
In like 50 years time, Jeff Bezos is going to own it all anyway. So
I don't know about that though. Jeff Bezos owning it all, does that mean we're going to Amazon Prime delivery our weed from now on? I don't think so. No, that's not going to happen.
It'll be shipped on drones, man. I'm gonna be with you in 5 minutes, so don't worry.
So okay, wait a minute, that's kind of crazy. You light the joint, send it so it's delivered lit, right?
Whoa, maybe they'll just put little flamethrowers on them. Yeah. Him and Elon Musk will team up to make a drone that delivers with flamethrowers on it.
There's same-day delivery here, man. I don't know how much it costs, but you can get your joint in an hour if you want.
Whoa, no way.
It's $12.
That's better than the UK, man. Our man's always 10 minutes around the corner.
$12 for a half gram, though. So
If you can't tell, we're kind of relaxed and we just like to have a little fun with it. But
I'm enjoying it. This is fun.
We smoke that devil cannabis. It makes us go on tangents.
So what's the push right now with NORML as far as US goes? Where are we? Where can we help?
Sure. Well, in the election coming up in November, there's a bunch of states that are going to be voting on it. One of them being my home state of New Jersey, so I'm very excited for that. It's also getting voted on for recreational use in Arizona.
Saw that.
As well as Montana. So,
nice.
As of now, the polling is looking pretty good. There's also medical ballot initiatives in Mississippi, South Dakota. And
now, Mississippi ballot, that's a big one because Mississippi's been a holdout for a very long time.
It's actually kind of interesting there because they had a whole citizen-driven effort. They got it on the ballot, and then the legislature, like the lawmakers and members of the legislature, passed another piece of legislation that would put an alternative measure on the ballot. That's it's more restrictive. It's not as clear, and it's kind of a way to undermine the voters and confuse voters at the polls. Ooh. So we're urging Mississippi voters to vote yes on the citizen-initiated measure and vote no on the legislature-driven one. So hopefully the one we're pushing for will prevail.
Good to know. I had no idea that things were that tight over there.
Yeah. So I think that we'll see a few more states come online later this year with those initiatives. But as far as the federal level, we have the MORE Act, which is pending in Congress. That's, again, I mentioned earlier, sponsored by Senator Kamala Harris, the VP nominee. for the Democrats. That's a really comprehensive piece of legislation. Not only would it remove marijuana from the Controlled Substances Act, or we call it descheduling, it would also fund federal expungements, and revenue would go towards those communities that were most harmed by the war on drugs. So that's
Awesome.
definitely social justice focused. So
Sounds
that's the main piece of
You know,
legislation.
that will make a big difference. You know, if you can just take care of the communities that have been damaged for the last 50 years by these stupid laws.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, and just with the whole like mass incarceration thing we have going here, and at least in the U.S., I mean,
Yeah.
the prison populations are just ridiculous. So I think that'll at least play a part in, you know, helping to reduce that.
for sure.
So we do find the cannabis industry is like male dominant. How is it as a woman working in the cannabis industry?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see discrimination kind of often.
Really?
Yeah, unfortunately, like you said, it's male dominated, and you know, women are part of that. You know, inclusivity and minority women owned. Yeah, that's something we're pushing for and advocating for. So hopefully, we'll see some more diversity in, you know, newer states as they come online. And like I keep going back to Illinois, I'm really looking at them for more diversity and inclusion. So I don't know if I'm excited to see how that turns out, but I'm definitely looking at them.
I think it's something that we need to do. We definitely need to get more ladies involved in growing. I know there's plenty out there. I just think maybe they keep it more hidden than the guys do.
Yeah, I think another thing with women, I think with mothers, I think it's very stigmatized. A lot of parents and mothers, I guess, like in the cannabis closet, as they call it.
Yeah.
So I think there's still that huge stigma attached to it. You know, the association with, you know, you can't be a good parent or a good person and smoke marijuana, which is not true, obviously.
Strange to me that people don't like the exclusivity thing. Like, it's so much better with a whole bunch of different people having all different ideas from all different sides of the table than, yeah, I don't know.
So do you grow yourself, Carly?
I don't actually. That's another reason why I was excited to come on your podcast. I thought maybe I might learn a little something, especially now with everything with the pandemic and DC having weird laws and not having any recreational stores. I've for sure considered doing it now more than
Do it. You won't look back. It's even, I mean, like TG, he's got legal weed where he is pretty much, but he'll still grow his own because it's a much better quality.
Oh
Absolutely
yeah.
better quality.
I don't have enough money, man. Like, it's too expensive to buy it.
I was gonna say, like, a big argument for us is like even like lower income people who can't afford to buy it at a dispensary, or maybe like in more rural areas where they might have to drive like 2 or 3 hours to get to a dispensary. Like,
Yeah,
what are the other options?
Absolutely. That's a big problem here in Saskatchewan. Our province is giant, and I mean, we have a pretty good number of stores, but still, like, out in the rural areas, yeah, you got to drive an hour, 2 hours if you want to get your stuff in person. Like, there's mail order, but I mean, still, it's brutal. So growing your own is definitely the way to go for sure.
Yeah, and I think with the pandemic, at least here in the US, a lot of states have kind of relaxed those regulations around like delivery services and selling.
Right.
So I guess something.
That's it. Until the prices really sort themselves out, when people are paying, how much do you pay per gram?
Like 15 or 20 bucks.
That's high. That's high.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
But that you gotta. There's no legal way to purchase it there,
Sorry.
Mackie.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
This is black market, okay?
The conversation
man.
is sold, man. You need to get your tent. You need to get your seeds. You got to pop your. It's like my last grow. It cost me about 77 pence per gram. Pence.
All right,
77
that's
pence.
$1 a gram.
what do you like? Would you recommend? I mean, I don't really have the ability to grow outdoors and when it.
Yeah.
No, we all grow indoors.
Did you smoke a lot? How much do you smoke in a week?
Maybe a half an ounce. a week.
Okay, 14 grams a week.
Yeah, man. So you could do it in like a 60 centimeter tent, I suppose. But I'd go for a 1 meter tent with 600 watt lighting or an LED equivalent to that. You could get it set up for about $400 or $500. Sorry, Carly. You go quiet when I speak. Sorry.
I was like, how much is a meter? Because obviously.
39 inches.
3 feet.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah,
This is
three
this is kind
between
of
3
been
and 4 feet.
it's kind of been my fun thing having to figure all this stuff out. Being an American at a everybody else talks metric, so yeah, I've gotten used to the 1.2 and the 0.9.
Mm.
Yeah,
I still
that's
So
don't
you have a
understand.
4 foot by 4 foot space.
I'm in Canada, man. I don't know fucking metric measurements. Like,
let me translate. First, he said you could probably do it in a 2 by 2 by 4 tent, but you'll have to do a lot of training. Or he would recommend a 4 by 4 by 6 foot tent.
that's what I have. Yeah, that's kind of a
Yeah.
standard size. Yeah.
A 4 by 4 by 6 is 4 plants, and you can do it with auto flowers. You can turn that about every 3 months. So you can run 4 runs a year if you're running autos. You'd run 3 a year if you're running photos. And if you get it tuned in right, and then now I'm not going to say your first run will ever get it right because most people have a little trouble. But if you get it tuned right, Mackie, what are you pulling? About a pound out of a tent?
I don't know what a pound is, bro.
Okay.
16 ounces, man. 454 grams.
Well, yeah, a little bit more than that, yeah.
So anyway, yeah, you can really get the yields up, but you know, Mackey's had a few years experience, Temple has, and I'm trying to catch up to those two guys.
Yeah, man, you can do it, and it's so easy to do. I know when you don't know anything about growing, it
Really?
sounds complex, but
Yeah.
it is really easy. And we can help you over at Percy's every step of the way, you know, every step.
Absolutely. We have guides, everything from setup to germination to harvest to curing, but you have to smoke it yourself.
Yeah.
You have to do it. You will not turn back. It's one of them things. When you've harvested your first crop and you've got your own buds and you've got jars full of your own buds, you'll realize, like, oh my God, them guys on that podcast were right, man.
Yeah, I can imagine that like sense of accomplishment for you know.
That too, yeah.
The independence is.
Yeah, I've never tried it, but I definitely am considering it. So
Stop considering it and start doing it.
Mm.
You have to do it. You have to get the tent. You have to get the light. I'm not encouraging you, by the way. No. I'm a terrible person, man. I encourage everybody to break the law. Shit.
Well, it's not illegal for her to grow. She just can't buy.
I mean, I don't
What?
know.
It's not even illegal. And you're asking whether you should. You have to.
No, I know.
Oh, I was just gonna ask, like, you can't sell it. Nobody can buy it anywhere. But are you guys allowed to trade, like, if you grow your own, but just to give it away like that?
Yeah, technically gifting is perfectly legal. That's why it's a funny thing with our illicit market here. Like there's all these delivery services here in DC where like they have websites and you can like order it online, but the way you do it is that you're donating to like any given cause and you receive the marijuana as a gift for your donation.
Loopholes, just like here in Canada, same thing. The black market here is alive and well, and yeah, here it's even more blatant. There's like $200 e-transfer. We don't care. But yeah, that's interesting.
It's crazy about all these regulations are still in place. You know, over here in the UK, we hear it's legal in America, it's legal in Canada, and a lot of people are under the assumption you can just go to the shop and pick up your weed and everything's all good. But there's still so many restrictions on it.
Very much so in the U.S. The restrictions are huge, and you know, if NORML would have its way, we would have one consistent rule across the country, and I wouldn't be arrested for going from a legal state to a legal state with weed in my pocket. And that's crazy, but you know, this is why we need NORML to help with these things.
Yeah. What's NORML doing in the UK, Carly?
That I honestly don't know. I'm not sure if we have a UK chapter. What are the laws like there? I'm not even familiar with the UK.
They're really strange, really. I mean, you could go as far as saying we are essentially decriminalized for personal use. You know, if you're smoking in your house, then there's not really going to be a problem. The police they'll turn a blind eye as long as you're not selling it. You know, that's a big issue. Is when you're selling weed. But they really just turn a blind eye as long as you keep yourself to yourself. I mean, you hear rumors that the UK is a police force that they police by consent. So, which isn't really true, but you know, it's like there's not really anything they can do unless there's a complaint made against you. So if somebody complains about the smell of weed, then they have to come out and investigate and do something about it. But if you can just keep yourself to yourself and not get in anybody's way, they're not really gonna bother you unless you're selling weed.
Well, the cool thing about NORML is that you can pretty much start your own chapter from wherever you are. So if you guys know anyone that
Oh my God, no, don't tell me this.
One more mission, huh, Mackie?
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm serious. If you guys know anyone, it's really easy to start a chapter, and I think we need the representation out in the UK for sure.
Well, we have panel members in the UK, and we also have a panel member in Ireland that might be interested in talking to you. So
Yeah.
send an email address to him and let him know.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I checked out your website. I actually listened to your Danny Danko episode.
Cool.
Really cool. I haven't met him in person, but he's definitely someone that's kind of an icon. So that was cool for me to listen to.
That's
Yeah, it
fun
was a good
to do.
interview.
Yeah.
We've had the pleasure of interviewing some good people. You see Tommy Chong as well. Tommy Chong.
Oh yeah, I did see that one. That's gonna be the next one I listen to.
It's crazy.
Tommy's great. Tommy's great.
That's it. The people we rub shoulders with, Carly from NORML as well, of course.
There you go. One more to add to the list, and a good one. And a good one.
Excited to be able to, talk to you guys and your audience. So.
But we just want the same things, we want to see legalization and fair treatment of everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you guys are aware of all the racial disparities and like arrest rates and sentencing. I mean, it's not even just in like a specific area where there's racial disparities. It's everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
You know all about this with the criminal injustice reform background you've got.
Yeah, I mean, I say if there's one thing I learned in school, it's that our system is racist as hell. So
Yeah.
change. And I mean, marijuana reform is definitely a part of that, but it's such a small part that there's it's only so much we can do on criminal justice reform as a whole. But I mean, marijuana reform is definitely an important part of that. So I feel lucky to be able to work on this issue and work with all the awesome people that I get to work with. I always say that the one thing that I like most about working with NORML, because of the grassroots nature of our organization, most of our chapters are volunteer based. So it's some of the most passionate and dedicated people I've ever met. So it's really refreshing to work with people like that.
But they're all cannabis users. Surely they're all lazy and stoned all the time.
Right?
And dishonest.
No,
Criminals everywhere.
really awesome people. So I feel humbled and lucky to be able to work with the people that I work with. So
Definitely.
It's been a great experience.
So how can our listeners find NORML and get involved in what you're doing?
We have a website, norml.org. Definitely check it out. If you're in the US, chances are there's a NORML chapter in your state or in your area. Like I said before, if there's not one in your area, you can start one on your own, which is really fun and exciting. But yeah, I mean, we're largely grassroots funded, people like you and me donating $5 or $10 here and there. That's how we operate. So any amount would help us legalize marijuana nationwide and hopefully overseas as well. And also contact your lawmakers. They're the ones who have the power to, make change. So, contact them and let them know how you feel.
Absolutely. And let your voice be heard at the polls. We need to have this.
Yes, 100% register to vote and make sure you vote.
That's how we start things. Yep.
Very nice.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, well, this has been awesome. Thank you
I
guys.
thought I left myself on mute there for a second.
He's got a habit
We do
of
that
doing
a
a few
lot.
things.
That's something we do often.
When we have a podcast called High on Homegrown, well, we make a few mistakes.
You have to keep it real. We have to be high on homegrown, right?
Yeah. I think, can we link to your podcast? We'll share it on our.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. We don't mind just share anywhere. We're on
Spread the word.
iTunes and Spotify. We're everywhere, so it's easy to find a link for us.
Yeah, I'll make sure we share that also on our social media.
Awesome. It's been a pleasure. I hope we can do it again soon.
Yeah, for sure. I'm happy to
man.
come on again if
Or maybe we can catch up in a few months' time and see how your grow's coming on.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
That would
okay,
be
yes.
really nice.
Yeah.
After the election, we can talk about that.
Awesome. All right. Thank you very much, Carly.
Bye now.
There we go. I hope you enjoyed that interview, everybody. We all enjoyed recording it with Carly. She was great, man. So
Yeah, she was great. She's done a lot for the cause. Really has.
Very knowledgeable.
that's it, man. She was
That's-
topped up on the knowledge as well, and we only got to the surface of it there. You can guarantee she knows so much more about the criminal justice reform and all that stuff, man.
Yeah, that expungement part is really, really exciting to me. Get some people their lives back.
Yeah, man. That's it. And they're changing the communities as well, putting money back into the communities that have been broken. I think that's such an important factor towards legalization. You know, these communities that have been damaged by the war on drugs all these years.
Yeah.
Things can change, man.
Worthwhile organization.
So, you know, if you enjoyed what Carly said and you haven't checked out NORML before, the link is in the description of the video. So you can just scroll down and click on that. And while you're there as well, in the description, you'll also see a load of links of where you can download previous episodes from like iTunes and Spotify, and Deezer, Stitcher, all of them different places. Wherever you usually listen to podcasts, you'll find High on Homegrown there. Just search for it or click on the link down in the description. So, anything else to say on the interview, lads? So don't forget to like and subscribe. You know, if you haven't liked the video yet, please smash that like button. See if it still works after ZM broke it. And then subscribe as well if you haven't already. Become a subscriber. So thank you very much, Carly, for coming to join us. I hope everybody enjoyed the interview. But now we're going to move on to what the fuck was that? Dun, dun, dun. A bit of a groove on the reggae tune there. Nice. Right, so what the fuck was that? Each week we play a 5-second soundbite. If you can tell us what it is, you can win a prize over at percysgrowroom.com. So this is sometimes easy, it's sometimes difficult, but you know, it's fun every time, I think. ZN, are you there? Have you made your coffee?
I have, and
Sweet.
I am.
Nice, good timing. So
Yeah.
what are you saying, man? Take it away.
Well, last week's has caused quite a few views, quite a few guesses, but they're all wrong, unfortunately. Yeah, last week's was crunchy leaves.
Right, here we go. We'll play the sounds, Ian. Here we go. I'll play it for
Crunched
you.
up in somebody's hand. Play.
There we go.
So, nobody got it.
Very
So
crunchy.
prize pool increases by a few. What we got going in this week?
I don't know, man. We'll throw it all together and let everybody know what's going on Tuesday. That's what we'll do. Come and join us on Tuesday to find out what's in the prize pool and what the fuck was that. We're going to throw some nice seeds in there and some nice merchandise from Ali Bongo, I think. Ali Bongo UK head shop. They're pretty cool guys. So, yeah, man. So if you're in the UK and you want to, you know, we don't get fucking paid sponsorship or shit. Just telling you, these guys are cool, man. They're from Norwich, alibongo.co.uk. They sell seeds too, but that's a different site. They're linked from there. We checked them out. They got nice bongs and light. They got all the nice paraphernalia for the
everything.
weed smokers, man.
Everything.
Old school head shop. Been around for a long time.
Yeah, and that's it. They got like bubble bags and fucking hash presses and things like that. They got fucking loads of so much shit.
Really?
Check it. Yeah, they got
Excellent.
loads of shit, mate. It's ridiculous the amount of stuff they've got. So check out Bongo out.
Discount for Percy's members too, right?
Yeah, discount. I think 15% maybe.
Excellent.
Don't know, it's pretty
Their
good,
seed
man.
selection is pretty good too, I will say.
Yeah, man. So, you know, we
They have
only
a lot
have
of,
the sponsors which we like. We would actually use ourselves over at Percy's. You know, so we recommend everybody we have over there. Check them out, man. Anyway, where was we?
Yeah, we was at
What the fuck was that?
Yeah, this week, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, man. So we should move on. This is the new one. Are you ready, Zian?
No, I'm ready. You're playing it.
Well, I know we say a 5-second soundbite, but that was actually 7.
Was.
Okay.
Well, the last week's was only 3, so I think
short,
we
made up for
so
last
it's
week. Yeah,
even
true.
now.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's an
yes.
average. Monthly average.
Average of 5 seconds.
Yeah.
when you do a stoner podcast, man, what
I
else
mean-
do you expect? We're
So-
close.
Yeah.
There you
But
go.
yeah, it's a good sound. I think it's a little bit of an easy one, but you know, have a guess. Sign up at Percy's, have a guess over there because you won't get nothing for guessing over here.
Yes, you got a comment in the thread. While we're here, Peter Griffin, man, you've had some interesting things to say in the chat. So if you drop us an email or leave us some way we can contact you, maybe you can be a guest on the show sometime for the interview section. We can see what you have to say about the expungement and things like that. That's interesting stuff. I do like that. So that was what the fuck was that? You have to try and guess what the fuck that sound was. Simple, really. Sometimes. So we'll move on now to the questions and answers.
Yeah.
Questions and answers. So now we answer any questions that you have in YouTube. You can come and ask us in the live chat. Sometimes we answer questions that are also asked on the forum and we bring them over to the live chat as well. So anytime you want to ask a question that you want answered on the show, either you can do it live or drop us an email at highandhomegrown@percysgrowroom.com or come and comment on the thread over at percysgrowroom.com. So, what questions have we got this week? We got some from the panel. We did have one in chat earlier from Richard D. He said, "Now winter's coming, will the panel be heating by gas or electric?" Does that depend on what country? Because I'll use electric heaters. I wouldn't use a gas heater. It just seems dangerous.
You get exhaust with
Well,
that and shit, and you have to
depends on
deal
what
with.
your definition of gas heater is, because central heating's gas heater.
Yeah,
and
but
I use my central heating. So
yeah,
You
but
know,
you know,
propane or one of those.
I know in the States you can have either gas or electric heat tied into your central unit. It just, the air exchanger just changes up and uses different sources.
yeah,
What was the question again? Sorry. It was about heaters.
What
Obviously.
are we going to use to
What is
heat
heating
during winter time?
yeah.
And my answer
Oh.
is the same thing I use in the summertime, and that is the central unit, which is all electric. So
I use electric. I'm in Saskatchewan in Canada, and my basement is horrifically insulated, so it gets to be about plus 13 Celsius, which is like mid 50s Fahrenheit, I think.
yeah, it's very low.
And pretty chilly. And I use just two little, like 250 watt electric heaters, obviously off the ground, and proper safety precautions taken. But yeah, they help. You plug them into an Inkbird, and then they come on whenever you need them, or some other temperature controller type unit. But
Oil rad heater seems to be a popular favorite amongst growers.
they do. They're quite good, actually.
Yeah, that's what I use. I've got one of those. I don't use
How
it right now
do
because it's
you-
summertime.
Don't you get exhaust? Or how do those work? I'm
It's
not
just
even
oil inside a radiator. An electric
Right.
element heats up the oil.
Oh, and it just heats it up.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
There's no exhaust. It's not like burning.
No, and the thing is as well, you can
hydrocarbon
get it up to
something.
the right temperature, and then you can turn it off for a while, and the heat will stay in the radiator for a while because the oil's been heated up. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
emits
it's pretty
heat
gentle
for
heating
longer,
as well. They're
even if
quite
it
good.
isn't turned on, which is good.
I use a cool thing. It's called a Soleil. It's like basically, as ZM pointed out to me, it's underfloor heating basically.
I can
It's like
understand how
this
that would work well.
flexible little thing. It's so fucking cool, and it's so cheap to run. It's only like 500 watts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Richard D said, "I'm in the UK and I've got a Calor gas heater that I was thinking might be okay." What do you think, Cian? You know your shit about that.
Gas heaters are okay. The good thing about them is they give off a lot of CO2, so you might be okay with your plants on the CO2 as well.
No
but
carbon
the
monoxide
negative-
and shit like that.
Yeah, well, carbon monoxide as well, but as long as you've got extraction, you're doing okay for that. But I mean, I wouldn't use one in a tent. It'd have to be in a shed or something in a solid building. Oh yeah, rented garage is fine. Yeah.
Another thing I do in the winter to increase my heat is I switch to HID, HBS, and metal
Yeah,
halide. So
Yeah,
those
that
put out
works.
a lot more light, obviously, than LEDs. So
But if you're running 12-12, you've got 12 hours of no light then, ain't you?
that is true, which is when my heater kicks on.
Yeah.
Yeah. A good point. Anyway, yeah. Heaters, electric. Hopefully, I mean,
electric
depends.
is the
I guess it
safest way
depends.
to go, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Well,
depends how much you need, but yeah.
You guys have got it better than us. We pay ridiculous amounts for our electric over here, and the gas for that matter,
Pay ridiculous
It
amount
just
for
depends
everything,
where
mate.
you are.
and everything else. Yeah.
What's
that's
cheap in the
very true.
UK, mate? Come on.
Very
Labour,
true.
Yeah.
Labour's cheap in the UK, but that's it.
Yeah, and weed at the minute in certain places.
Fuck off. Where? Oh yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I suppose compared to fucking GB, who's paying them ridiculous prices, then yeah, definitely.
Oh, but even the lecky over here, lads, is fucking robbery.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
it cost
no.
me over €700. It cost me for the lecky bill at Christmas.
Do you
And that
know
was
what you
when I was
pay per
grown.
kilowatt hour?
We pay
No, I don't do
15
these
cents,
things.
I think. Here, 15 cents in Canada.
Wow.
I have no idea.
I could be totally wrong. It's 15 something. It could be. I would assume it's 15 cents because it's
I would go
0.1.
15 cents. Yeah.
Yeah. I think.
That sounds
I have to
about
check.
right.
Oh, I have hold on, I got my electric bill right fucking here.
Conveniently.
Just happens to be convenient, right?
3 times the price of that. Yeah.
Okay, can I ask somebody a question? I'm on this fucking YouTube channel, yeah? Now, the screen is after getting big, and then my chat window is after disappearing down underneath. How do I put my chat window back up to the side of the screen to make it back?
Of what?
Do you know what I mean?
Put
On
it
the
up to
YouTube
half
channel.
screen and resize it at the corner. How do
Resize
I
it
do
to full
that?
screen. Resize it to full screen. It'll go to chat on the side.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess it doesn't tell me. Go figure, fuckers.
I don't know.
I don't know,
either.
we haven't had a YouTube question yet, unless there's question and answer
But,
before.
you know, that was
Ah,
that was an
have
odd
it.
kind of question there. You know, odd
Sorry,
question.
yeah, I know.
He
It
asking how
wasn't.
does he fix his own computer?
It's okay. I have a fiction now. Yay. Okay.
So we had one. Someone sent me a message, but I can't quite remember what the fuck the question was because I didn't write it down because I'm an unprofessional stoner, you know. But I think it was something to do with making seeds. You know, TG, you know about that stuff. How do you make fem seeds? How would you go about doing it?
Making fem seeds.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you need to cause a female plant to produce pollen, whether through stress or like chemically through like silver thiosulfate and silver nitrate application. And the pollen that comes off of the male flowers that grow on that female plant will only have female genetics, and then you use that pollen to pollinate either the plant itself, which is called selfing, or other plants, and then you will end up with only, or you should end up with only female plants because there's only female genetics going into the children. Yeah.
Well, does that differ?
basically.
You say you can do it by stress or you can do it chemically. When you do it by stress,
Yeah.
is that more likely
Well,
to pass on a hermaphrodite gene to the next
I'm like
generation?
full disclosure. I'm not a breeder, and I'm
Mm.
my experience is first year biology. But I have bred seeds myself, and I've done a bit of reading on it. And yeah, I think that using silver is better than the stress thing, unless like, well, yeah, because the stress is easier to, well, sorry, the silver is a lot easier to avoid in future grows than stressing it, right? And stress can be, well, caused from various factors. Whereas if you don't spray silver on your plants, you're not going to get female plants. So in that sense, yeah, you wouldn't want to risk those genetics being carried forward, because if you don't want them to produce male flowers and they do, that's an issue that most growers don't want to deal with. So, but yeah, both ways, like stress by stress, what we mean is like excess heat, temperature swings, pH swings,
Light shock.
yeah,
Drought, massive drought.
Yep.
pretty much anything a plant wouldn't like, or ourselves wouldn't like either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, I think
Should
that's
be
what
long.
use them.
that question in the forum, which you were speaking about earlier, that's what it was, man. It was you know, that some people talk about a 7-week drought that will make the frost and the resins come out a little bit more. Have you heard
Yeah.
about that? Yeah, when it's coming towards the end of flower, just stop watering the plant,
Yeah.
let it really dry out. You tried it before?
7-day
heard that.
drought.
Yeah, well,
That
don't water the plants at all. Let the medium fully dry out
Yeah.
on
yeah.
about week 7.
I can't remember the paper now, but there was some evidence that is true, that resin was, or certain cannabinoids were increased after a drought stress than the ones that weren't subjected to the same drought stress.
Mm.
But I'm not sure if it was like really nailed down or if that was kind of just like a one-off thing.
Yeah,
Can't remember
might
what
just be
paper that
thin or
was, but
something.
there was a
Oh.
paper that addressed that.
Isn't there a similar one that says that the resin production is massively increased with the introduction of UVB?
Yeah, I think
did
that's
see that one.
yeah,
That's an old one, yeah.
because the resin is there to protect the genetics of the plant,
Yeah,
the
so
DNA from the plant
UVB
from
is
UV.
a destructive influence on the plants,
Right.
as it is
My
with
light
everything
has
else.
my UV
so-
diodes. Shane from MyGrow has a really good video about that, actually, about the efficacy of UV and whether or not it actually does anything.
Yeah.
In his experience, he does the experiments and he tries to find papers and at least contemporary papers, because I think the paper that says that is pretty old and maybe wasn't repeated. So yeah, the UV, I don't know. I'm out to, like, I have no opinion on it really. I'm kind of doubtful, but I mean, it makes sense because it's in nature, right?
Yeah,
And the sun
yeah.
obviously gets you a little bit of UVB, hopefully no UVC.
We've got
unless you're in,
EB in the chat
Good
there.
stuff.
What about complete darkness for a few days before harvest? I suppose I have heard
I've
that
heard
too.
that too, yeah.
Yeah, I've tried it, but it made no difference really.
No,
Yeah,
I tried it. As
I
well.
would
I
say
was-
that's shit.
I was gonna say I done that on my first. I took half of the plants out
Hmm.
when they were ready, and I left the other half. Then I gave them an extra 2 days of complete darkness.
Yeah.
and it made no fucking difference
Yeah, that's what I
whatsoever.
did with
The
one.
only thing I've
Might save
tried
you
all
some
these
on your
different
power.
things, man, and the only thing which I've noticed that really makes a difference was dry trimming. Leaving the plant to dry with everything on it, and
Yeah,
then
takes a bit.
You know.
it takes a bit longer. But there was so much of a quality smoke to it. It was a lot smoother because it took longer to dry, and it had a lot more moisture in the plant, so it took longer for it had more time to break down the chlorophyll and the sugars and the starches. So it took longer, but it was so much of a better smoke for it. I think everything else
I
I've
would
tried,
have to
I
agree.
wouldn't have noticed a difference, but I definitely noticed a
I,
difference when I did that.
I asked that question last week and I was laughed at. Actually,
Yeah,
was
that
it
was
in,
last
or
week,
was
mate.
it in? Could have been in the dank tapes, maybe.
Right.
The dry
Could
trim.
have
Don't
been
blame
there.
us then, brother.
Yeah, you wouldn't get
It was
laughed
a
at here for asking a
dry,
question.
I'm saying
drying. Has anybody dried a whole plant, like literally just cut it at the top in a medium and fucking tied her up and let her dry
Yeah.
away that way?
I
And
did
I
one or two
was,
like that.
Somewhat
yeah,
common to do that, but I
Well,
branch it out.
no, I'll take a whole plant down unless it's in a scrug because you can't. But
Right.
if it's standalone, then I'll chop it completely at the base and then I'll hang it upside down straight away and then let the wife do the trimming. But that's about it. Fairies come
okay.
along and trim my buds. I don't do it.
Yeah.
They show up in
Oh,
jars cured.
the house elf.
That's it.
The house elf. The house elf is what
Underpants
does everything
gnomes,
here, man.
the cousins.
Oh. Peasants.
Yeah, the darkness is a way to preserve the terpenes and lower temps, and light degrades THC as well. So that's a factor that always needs to be taken into account. But it won't degrade it so much over a few days to make a massive difference, I wouldn't think.
I don't think it enhances it by any stretch, but
No,
I
just
don't know. I mean,
try it, man. Try it out for yourself. See how it goes. It's not going to kill the plant. It's not going to cause too
Yeah.
much damage. So give it a shot yourself, man. This is what
Save some
growing is.
power
You
at
know, it's
least,
a fucking hobby. So you have to try these things yourself as well. Don't just take people's word for it. Have some
Nothing
fun
wrong
with it, man.
experimenting.
Experiment.
Yeah.
But
Find
yeah,
out what
for
works
me,
for
What
you.
you
I,
asked the
I
question
just
as
chop my
well.
plants at the
Yeah.
end of their nighttime before the lights come on. That's the only thing I
Yeah.
do differently. I wouldn't chop them midway through the daytime. I like to get them at the end of the dark.
Yeah.
Apparently, a lot of the sugars and stuff go to the roots when it's in the dark, and that's maybe why people want to leave it on for longer, because more of them sugars get pushed into the root zone rather than being the plant. But yeah, I think darkness, the whole dark period, just 12 hours is enough. I don't know.
Yeah.
Try it, man.
I would agree though. The timing of the harvest, whether it's right when the lights come on, after the lights have been on for a while, or like right when the lights go off, that's important. In Jorge Cervantes' Cannabis Encyclopedia, he says right before the lights come on, or at least he's talking about outdoors, but early morning. So that would equate to like right when the lights come on, or just right around thereabouts. So
Within
makes
an hour.
sense, yeah. So I don't know. I haven't ever seen the actual studies, but like I say, it kind of makes sense, common sense wise.
Yeah, man. So there we go. Thanks for the questions, everybody. We appreciate it, man. So always a pleasure. And if you have any more questions that you'd like us to answer next week, then go over to Percy's and try it in the thread. But, yeah, man. So let's move on to
Truth or
spoof. So, man, this is getting so difficult to find things every week, lads. 3 things and try and make them all sound like bullshit. But, right. Truth or spoof. There's going to be 3 statements that I'll present to the panel. 2 of them will be true. 1 of them will be false. It is the panel's job to figure out which one is bullshit. Now I have 60 seconds. You can give it a shot as well and see if you can get the correct answer. But should we get ready for this, lads?
I have
you
to
all
get
ready?
the pen and paper.
Truth or spoof number 1. Oh, look, yeah, new screen on this as well. Look, over the top, it's still got a thing in the background. It looks pretty cool. Right, so, number 1. There is a synthetic analog of THC called HU210. It is considered to have the potency of at least 100 times that of THC. Okay, so there's a cannabinoid that is at least 100 times stronger than THC. 1 or 2, true or false. Number 2. A synthetic cannabinoid called 5-FADB was discovered in 2014. It was found on an individual who had died after using a product containing it. Is that true or false? That they found some deadly cannabinoid on a guy who died after using it. True or false? Number 3. A synthetic cannabinoid called 42 HGTG, created in 2005, can cause hallucinations similar to those caused from smoking 5-MeO DMT. Okay, there we go. TG, you want to go first on this one, man?
Sure. That I have fucking no idea, to be
Good.
completely honest.
Let's do it.
I mean,
I think that's his intention.
yeah, I know. I'm just trying to find. It's THCP was a new cannabinoid they found. It's 33 times more potent, but that's only 33 times, not 100. And the name you gave was different on that first one. But fuck, the other ones sound kind of just the same. So I'm gonna go with number 3 because is the spoof, because in the name of the molecule, what was it, HGTG or something like that? It
Let's
says
go back to
TG,
it for
so
you.
yeah, I think it's HGTG, right?
Yeah, HGTG.
Yeah, so I don't know. I thought maybe you just got lazy and put TG in there. It's like he'll
I'm
fucking never
saying
think
nothing.
that I
I'm
put
saying
his
nothing. I
own
was going to
name.
comment then, but it's like, no, that would be unfair. So I will leave my
I don't know.
comments until the end.
And 5-MeO DMT. Yeah, I don't know. In my experience with that and reading other people's accounts with it, the hallucinations from that, I don't know. I've never really had hallucinations using that. That's more of, I don't know. It's nicknamed the Void, so I mean, for good reason. At least, yeah. So I'm gonna go with number 3 because of
Okay.
those reasons.
Right. Anybody in the chat there, if you've got any idea, 1, 2, or 3, don't forget to leave a comment. I am keeping notes. Monkey, do you want to go next, mate?
Okay. First one, HU210. I'm aware of that name only in reading. I personally think the synthetic cannabinoids are trash, garbage. Stay away from them.
Agreed.
But strength of it, I'm not sure of. But I don't know, Mackie. You may have just changed the number there, but I'm going to say that one's true. The second one, the 5F ADB. Again, I know a lot of those things were 5Fs. So I'm going to say it's true. And I'm going to go with TG on it because the last one, I'm not aware that the cannabinoids were ever reported to cause hallucinations. I thought that was bath salts. So I'm going to go with 3.
3 for Monkey.
Yeah.
Didn't you hear you can make bath salts out of cannabis now? Oh, that's bath bombs,
Oh,
right?
man. Bath salts, bath bombs. I think there's a big difference here.
GB, do you want to take this away, man?
Oh, to be quite honest, man, I have absolutely no idea. None whatsoever. I was just going to go with 3 because that's what they say. 3 is the magic number. But yeah, that was it.
Well, you're going to go for 3?
I'm just going to go for 3 as a lucky
Sweet.
guess.
A shout out to Twisted there. Didn't see Twisted in the chat. What's going on, geezer?
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah.
Oh,
Good man.
yeah, OT.
ZN, it's down to
Oh,
you.
man, I'm fucked.
Oh, wow. I'm going to go.
We can either all gang up on him and take the same one, or you can.
Monkey, come on. No coaching, man.
I think he's
No,
made
but
it pretty easy as it goes because the first 2, I mean, the first one most definitely is a synthetic cannabinoid.
right.
And it's used on a lot of these flipping illegal highs. So yeah, I would go for the 100 times stronger because people do all sorts of stupid shit on it. Number 2, again, yeah, there's a lot of cannabinoids with the designation 5F. Seems to be a popular popular designation, Fs. So I'm going to go with number 3 for being the porcupine.
Number 3 for everybody. Now, are you sure?
Yes.
I will give you all one last chance to change your mind.
No.
No.
Good.
Okay.
Stay.
Okay. Fine. Bastards.
He did it again, yeah.
Picked him. Picked
Fuck.
him.
Yes. Number 3 is the spoof. Moving on to stoner quotes. Let's go. Right, let's just go through them quickly. Motherfuckers, right. Number 1, there's a synthetic analog of THC called HU210. It is considered to have the potency of 100 times that of THC. Apparently, it's true. Yeah, man.
Really?
So there's some shit out there that can really fuck you up, man.
Oh, let's try find some of that.
5-FADB is one of them.
Synthetic
Oh.
cannabinoids, though, it's
Just looking at it now on.
I wouldn't
Jubilee.
recommend trying them. I've heard bad things.
Oh, hang on. This is the shit that we were selling in the head shops.
Yeah.
K2
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Yeah, that's
that
that
stuff.
spice, man. That's
yeah,
the
and black
fuck
mamba
you
and that
up.
shit.
That's
Right,
it.
number 2
Yeah.
there, a synthetic cannabinoid called 5-FADB was discovered in 2014, found on an individual who had died after using a product containing it. Yeah, so some person died
What the
from
fuck do
synthetic
they call
cannabinoid.
them a cannabinoid? Because is it just a similar chemical structure to
It's
THC and other?
it's because
or-
it has an effect on the endocannabinoid system in the human body. That's what makes it
Okay.
the
It bonds
cannabinoid.
to the
Same
CR1 and
receptor.
CR2 receptors.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
And way.
Yeah,
DB, yeah.
they're antagonists.
5-ADB,
Right then, so yeah,
25.
number 3. It was like I don't know what to fucking do. So a synthetic cannabinoid called 42. TG was a little right there. This does mean something. It's 42, the answer for everything from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which was a film that was created in 2005. But so it was a little bit mixed up, and then it was like, yeah, DMT, fuck it, just put it in. And then I copy and pasted the DMT bit in there to make it look all scientific and official with the hyphens and the capital M and a lowercase e and the O. But did it work for me? Did it?
No.
Fuck. No. Well done, everybody. You
I just
bastard.
took a lucky guess. I'm well chuffed.
Well, you got one in 3 chance of getting it right, just by guessing. You know what I'm saying? CN's got to be making coffee one day. He'll come back. He's got to go, number 2, and he'll get it right.
Everybody will get it right, yeah.
So there we go. That was truth or spoof this week, everybody. Who else did we get? Cade got it right. Twisted said number 2
did.
and was wrong.
Yeah.
So, oh wow. Try again next week, man. It's just a bit of fun. There were fun on games to keep the Sunday night entertaining. So, Stoner quotes.
Yeah, man, like I had a thing to do, where you talk, man, where the cat talks. I got a thing to say, man. I was gonna say it, but I forgot it, man.
Oh, I like that.
TG, it's down to you, mate.
Very nice. Yeah, so I don't think this guy was a stoner by probably any stretch of the imagination. Maybe on some of the more crazy shit, but Thomas Edison, maybe who knows what they were doing back then. But so yeah, Thomas Edison was an inventor. Obviously, we know this. He invented the light bulb, among other many other things. And I swear to God, I didn't pick this quote before I knew what the topic was tonight. I had this quote ready to go for a while now for this episode, and then today was the first day I actually read what the topic we're talking about, which is mistakes in the grow. And the quote I have from Thomas Edison, which is totally true and everybody needs to take to heart because, he said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." So,
Very true.
And for growing, and growing especially, that's so applicable because even if you find 10,000 ways that do work, there's still going to be another 10,000 that also work. So, keep an open mind with your shit.
Definitely.
And don't think that because you didn't get it right and you follow the exact instructions of somebody else that you suck, because nobody has the same environment, right? So you kind of have to do a little tweaking yourself and develop your own version. And the only way to do that is, like you said, to fail.
Yeah,
but
persevere.
really just to
that's
find
the
ways
most
that don't
important
work.
I've got a bit of a what's it as well on the Edison inventing the light bulb. Edison did not invent the light bulb.
Here we go.
thing. Oh no.
Sorry, Edison patented the light bulb, the first successful light bulb. The actual light bulb should be credited to an Italian guy called Alessandro Volta,
I've heard this before, yeah.
Yeah.
because he conducted electricity through a copper wire and got the first manifestation of a
Fair
light
enough.
bulb.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
was
he
it in a
dispute that
bulb
name
or was it just a
Volt
wire?
Well, he
Volt.
carried it on. He did all sorts of different things with it. He changed the what's it, and he did have it in. He did have like an arc lamp at the end of
Sorry,
the day.
mate. Sorry, mate. That's a wire. That's glowing.
I don't.
A light bulb has got to have that glass bulb on it,
That's-
man.
He's creating
light bulb-
incandescent light with electricity is all
Yeah.
he's doing. So yes, technically it was a light bulb, even if
Yes.
it's an open atmosphere.
Okay, let's
Yes.
just say he invented
Edison
electric
just
lighting.
created a brighter
Ah.
light bulb.
Yes.
He
Full
invented
disclosure
electric
too.
lighting.
So he patented it. But there you go.
There you go.
Oh, we just say
I'm not-
Edison made it better.
That kind of blew the quote, didn't it?
I'm sorry.
That's all. Whoever knows if he really said that. And full disclosure, I'm
Yeah.
a Nikola Tesla fan anyway. So
Yeah, I'm a
Edison-
Nikola Tesla
Dave?
fan as well. But also in the mix, there's a geezer called Joseph Swan, who did actually get there before Edison on the enclosed version. But Edison had more money.
Well,
Mhm.
be that as it
Well,
may,
money
he didn't.
talks.
He
This
didn't.
sounds
He
like a
did say this. So
stoner
yeah, I don't know.
podcast, you know?
Sorry,
He invented other shit too,
I'll
right?
just destroy
Yeah, man, he
everything.
invented a lot of shit. Edison did. He's one of them
Yeah.
guys. You know, it's like
Edison-
Da Vinci and
yeah.
fucking them big guys,
Yeah,
man.
Edison was a nasty geezer according to certain writings.
Yeah, so was
Yeah.
Nikola Tesla, according to certain writings, man. Everybody.
Well, yeah, but
It's just the way people write shit. I mean, it's like
history
books were the
is always
Facebook
written
of
by
the
the
fucking
victor.
of the past. You know.
Everybody was a dickhead to somebody in the past.
So you're saying
you
you
know
used to
what I
get
mean?
trolled in a textbook. That's really bad.
Mm.
Ooh.
Somebody write a textbook just to troll you.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This is the first diss book. Yo, that's a great name for a website. Diss book. It's like just Facebook, really. Anyway, we're going on tangents when this isn't the show for tangents. That's next week. So let's move on to the intro. That's not next week. It is next week, but Tuesday. You know, right? You know what I'm talking
Yes.
about, right? So here we go.
Those
Outro.
weeks.
This week now because it's past 12.
Thank you for joining us, everybody. The music's kicking in quietly in the background now, which means it's the end of the show. It's been a massive pleasure, as it usually is. You're all nice to get involved in the chat and keep us entertained with your questions and a little bit of banter that goes on. So if you want to download previous episodes, maybe this is the first time you've heard the show, then you can pop over to iTunes and Spotify, all them major podcasting networks, and you'll be able to download the show there. Just search for High on Homegrown. So, anything you want to say, lads? You want to say goodbye to everybody?
Drop over to Percy's, put your answers in the thread. Guess
Yeah,
your
man.
make your guess. Get those seeds.
And don't forget, we've got a show coming up on Tuesday as well at the same time. Whatever time the podcast started for you today, for us in the UK, it's 10 o'clock. On Tuesday, we're going to start another podcast at the same time. It'll be on the first of every month, just a monthly show. So on Tuesday, we'll see you there.
And, this is live and unfiltered.
Yeah, live,
Yeah.
unfiltered,
So
no structure.
God knows
No
what
structure.
is going to happen.
Yeah.
No.
So, GB, as we're
Crazy.
signing off here, how is those edibles kicking in?
They're pretty all right, man. I have to say.
They're slumped in the chair.
Yeah, I'm kind of sitting back. That's what I couldn't even focus on the screen when I was looking at it. I was kind of half listening to what Mackie was saying on the questions. So I
What?
just went, yeah.
And you still got me,
Yeah,
you
it's
bastard.
He is high on
He's made a guest
homegrown.
based on
No.
everybody else's.
Yeah, I had to say I'm gonna have to make these fucking thingy majigs, and I know the guides are there on Percy, so yeah.
Right, sweet. So that's it then. We'll call it a day. Join us again on Tuesday, and if you're busy, then we'll be back again on Sunday next week, as we do.
Night,
every
everybody.
week. Thank you again,
Night,
everybody,
folks.
and on behalf of
Stay safe.
High on Homegrown
See you.
and the rest of the team at Percy's, have a good week.
Drop by
Goodbye.
Percy's. Say hi.
Stay high.
Bye.
Son.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.